And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Well, what's up, everyone? We have had one hell of a week. You talk about a Friday and Saturday filled with action in the world of MMA. This is Weighing In with Josh Thompson and John McCarthy. We are here to talk to you about what happened in the world of MMA in just the last 2 days. You can catch us on YouTube, Google Podcasts, Apple, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and all those other plethoras of podcasting platforms that are out there. If you have a friend that likes MMA, talk to them, tell them about us, tell them to subscribe, give us the thumbs up. We like the thumbs up. We don't like the thumbs down, but really we don't care about the thumbs down because we don't get that many. So it's a good thing. We also have beautiful t-shirts like you're seeing right here with me. I'll go to the side there. Boom.
Nice.
The Weighing In news, our new sign, got the old one up there. But you can go to ProWrestlingTees.com to get one of these cool shirts. When you go to ProWrestlingTees.com, what is it? You go / I can't remember. Talk to me, Josh.
/
Weighing in. And when you go to / weighing in, it's going to pop up with a bunch of different t-shirts. We are in a contest also. So if you are in the blue corner with Josh Thompson, get that blue Weighing In t-shirt. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
there you
everyone.
go.
Yeah, Josh Thompson.
Because everyone needs to, sometimes, help the underdog.
Yes.
But if you want to go to the A side, you want to be in the red corner, which is the champion's corner, which is the corner that everyone wants to be in, and then you can be with me in the red corner, hit that and get a red shirt. That's proving that you are an intelligent human being. What's up, my brother? Oh, and also, if you use the code word underdog, you'll get a 20% discount on that shirt. So that's for the rest of this month.
Yes.
What's happening, my man?
Man, we had a long weekend. We had a long weekend of a lot of fights. Just so people understand,
we've been up a lot of hours.
Yeah, we've been up a lot of hours, but you guys don't like. I fly home. Like we do our show in Connecticut, right, for Bellator on Friday night. Show ends around 12:45, and we get off the air. By the time we get out of the venue, it's like 1 something. We basically try to snatch up some food, whatever we can find in that casino, because there's not a whole lot of things open. We eat, we get maybe a beer or two in us, and then I head straight to the airport at like 3:30. My car picks me up at 3:30, 3:45. I'm at the airport by 4:30, and my flight leaves at 5:50. So I'm boarding my flight by 5:25, and I'm out of there, man. So I'm home just so we can get these filmings in. I mean, that's one of the biggest reasons why I come home so early is that. And then, we got to make sure we see Frankie fight. I mean, we just had Frankie on last week, and I was getting the energy. I was like, maybe my old ass can still do this. And I was like, I saw him get hit a couple times. I was like, no, I can't. I was like, no, this is not going to happen. So
looks like it hurts.
Yeah. I mean, we can get into the UFC, or do you want to get into Bellator first? You make a call.
Well, you know what? I said we just watched the fight, so it's fresh in our mind.
Perfect.
Let's talk about that one, then we'll talk about what happened the night before.
Good.
But
Let's talk about the first two opening fights on the UFC main card. Dwight Grant and D-Rod.
What? Dude, what? A comeback. That was one of those good comebacks.
Yep. It reminded me of Pat Barry and Czech Congo a little bit. I mean,
Czech Congo or Scott Smith against Pete Drago Cell.
Yep.
One of the great comebacks of all time. But just, and people are sitting there, complaining about, Chris Tognoni about, why didn't he stop in the first one? There was a difference in what was occurring to the fighters, and that's what the referee is seeing. And Chris did an outstanding job in giving him time, but he's getting hit, he's getting hurt, but he's trying to respond. And if he's trying to respond, you're going to let him go on as long as he's doing the right things. The big difference is when you saw that punch land and Grant, he went out for just that second and he hits the ground, and the shock brings him kind of back, but he went out. Chris saw that he went out, and that's why the fight stopped quicker for him than it did for Rodriguez.
The other thing, though, like we talk about this a lot, is you've got to be basing it off of the body, the way the body's reacting. Dwight looked like his legs were gone before he got dropped. He was tired and
because he was tired.
So exhausted.
He did the proverbial. He shot his wad.
Yes,
dude.
he did.
Went after him, and I don't blame him for going after him. That's what he's supposed to do.
Yeah,
man, he was tired at that moment.
Yeah, he was exhausted. He went for gusto, but the problem was he wasn't picking and choosing his shots when he was doing it. He was just hammer fisting. Kind of got warned a bunch of times for hitting the back of the head as well. I mean, you've got to create the space enough to land the hard shots, and he didn't do that. And so nothing was really landing super clean. I mean, there was a couple that got in there, but there was nothing that was like, oh no, where was last Daniel. I was gonna say A-Rod, of course, but D-Rod was there was nothing that really got solidly through when he was able to work back up to his feet. But then when Dwight got back to his feet, he was exhausted. And you saw the chicken legs. He saw just, the stutter. I trained with Dwight. He was at AKA for a lot of time. I don't know where he's at now. He just up and vanished one day, but he was at AKA for the longest time. He was one of them. He was Luke Rockhold's main training partner for the Chris Weidman fight.
Really?
Yeah, because no one was there. It was right after everyone had fought. And we both had fought. It was in the middle of early January is when we fought. I fought Benson and he fought Rockhold. Rockhold fought Weidman. And I only had Luke and I had a couple other small guys and I had Dwight Grant. So it was the five of us in the gym at the time because the gym was completely dead during that training camp time because it was during Christmas time and New Year's. No one trains really during that time. They don't want to take fights during those times. But man, Dan Rodriguez, he took some big shots, got dropped, scrambled around, got back up to his feet. And what I liked about what he did is he put the pressure on. He didn't get up and go, okay, now I'm going to try to survive. No. He got up. And he's like, okay, look, I know you try to just finish me. I know you're not going to be the same fighter you were when you dropped me. I'm going to get after you. And when he did that, Dwight Grant had no answer, had nothing.
Well, when you have put everything at that moment in that trying to finish the fight, and now that referee hasn't stopped it, and now your opponent's standing up, and what are you trying to do? You're trying to just grab as much oxygen as possible. And then if a guy's starting to press you, now it's like, oh man, and the wheels just started falling off of the cart. But the right hand that Dwight landed, man, that was nice because it was long and it was outside, and he never saw it coming. It hurt him. It was the kind of fight you just look at and you go, that was just fucking awesome. Yeah. I really feel bad that one guy had to lose, but I'm glad that it, happened the way it did because you know what? One guy just showed that, he's got no quit in him, and the other guy just made the mistake of exactly what you're saying. When you hurt somebody, you can't lose your mind.
Yeah.
This is the time that you really start to think and pick your shots and understand that good, hard shots are what's going to end this fight, not multitudes of things that some are hitting, some are not, some are bouncing off of the shoulders, bouncing off of the arms. Pick your shots, put hard power into them. And that's usually the power is what, when referees are watching, I used to tell guys all the time, man, stop getting into a position and starting to throw punches. Elbows scare referees. I'm just telling you. Okay, because they do damage. And when you see a guy landing heavy thudding elbows, because this is that sound that you get, the referee hears it. He hears that sound. And Roy Nelson, I told him, I said, stop. You're getting into that crucifix and you're doing your taps with your punches. Throw elbows. If you throw elbows, the referee's going to stop it. I'm telling you, he's going to become much more concerned with the damage that's being done. And just, you got to be smart in what you do. But it was a cool fight. Fun. Yeah. Great. You talk about a great opening fight on a card. That's the kind you want.
And let's remind people that fight was actually slapped together just yesterday because both of their opponents dropped out.
And it was switched to the main card because it was supposed to be, I think, the number 4 fight of the evening. Yeah,
but they knew it was going to be action-packed with the two of them. I'm surprised they didn't match those two up originally to begin with. But it was supposed to be a good fight. I have a question, though. Why was it called a KO? Because there was a couple shots.
Because he went out. Okay, here's the definition. So everyone knows. You don't have to go completely out. Under the unified rules, the definitions are this. If, as the referee, you stop a fight based upon the fact that the fighter is not intelligently defending themselves, it's a TKO. If you stop the fight because the fighter cannot intelligently defend themselves, it's a knockout. He doesn't even have to go unconscious because the cannot is meaning that their brain has been altered and they really don't know where they're at, even though they're still conscious. And the whole thing comes down to basically suspensions also, because you want to get someone that you say, hey, this person got hit and altered to the point they didn't know who they were, but they were still there. You don't want to give them a TKO because that's going to be a 30-day suspension compared to a 60-day suspension for the KO. And you're really looking at trying to take care of the fighter and giving them more time off so they heal better. So when you hear the TKO, it's supposed to be, not that all referees do it right because they'll call it wrong at times, but it's supposed to be if the fighter is not defending themselves and you stop it, that is a TKO. When they cannot and you stop it, it is a KO.
Gotcha. I was looking at that and I was trying to figure it out. I was like, oh, he was out, but he kind of came back too.
But he came back, yeah.
Yeah. So
as soon as he went out, yeah.
Got it. I understand. But the same thing happened. What happened to Dwight Grant happened to the next fight, which was, how do you say her last name? Agapova?
Yeah. It's supposed to be Agapova.
Okay.
Akapova. Dominic was getting that one all over. And I got nothing to say because I screw up names all the time.
I'm the worst, man.
I was loving it. Yeah, it's Agapova.
Agapova.
You talk about losing your mind and going nuts at the beginning of a fight.
Yeah.
You know, I love her when she walks out and when she's, getting introduced.
Agapova. There you go. Not Agapova.
That's what he was saying. Agapova.
Isn't it?
That's what Dominic was saying.
I thought it was
Agapova.
Is it Agapova?
Agapova.
Okay.
Is the correct way of saying it.
Okay.
Yeah, he was saying Agapova is what Dominic was saying. Which it just got in his mind. And you heard them. You know that someone talked to him because he said it right then.
Yeah.
And then he went right back to the way it was. It was like, oh, it's just in his head, man. He's stuck. I don't blame him.
But Dobson, though, here's the thing. Now you've got me confused. Agapova. Okay, now you got me confused.
Agapova.
Yeah, here's the thing with her. So she asked for that fight after her last fight. She had a great performance. She wanted this fight. When you request a fight, I know you want to go out there and perform, but talk about an adrenaline dump.
Oh,
she could barely stand up after the fight. She was just so dumb.
No, she got carted off.
Oh my gosh, man.
She got stretchered out because she had a complete adrenaline dump.
Yep.
And then exhaustion and
shots.
Yep. So she got carted off.
This is this is a big learning experience. And I think a lot of this comes from, and I'm just saying because I think she's still pretty young.
Yeah, 9 and 2.
Yeah, but she's still pretty young though. Her age though, I think.
23. 23
years old.
23 years old.
This is what I think this is really what it happened is she started reading her own press. Because she came in there thinking that she was like just going to come out there and pose her will. And there's a lot of hype around her. And she tried to do so much. Like here, she was fighting so dumb.
Fast
and dumb.
Fast and dumb.
Because even when she was in the guard not landing good shots, she was just throwing and nothing was landing. You're just wasting your energy and your opponent's going, all right, I can't, maybe I'm going to hit a little bit here, graze a little bit here. But everyone knows that you can't maintain that type of pace for a very long time.
No one can.
So anybody that you're fighting is like, okay, I'll be okay in about 2 minutes.
Let me just survive the storm.
And if I was Dobson didn't see it, I don't think. But when the round ended, Agapova was in her guard, in Dobson's guard. And when the round ended, Dobson like kind of rolled backwards and got up. But I don't think she looked over, but Agapova just went to her hands and knees. Yep. And she labored.
Stayed there.
She stayed there for a second or two, but she labored to get up. It's like one leg came up, then she used her elbow and arm to push herself up to get back to 2 feet. And then when she stood up, she kind of wobbled. And I was like, oh, this isn't going to be good. She better recover real fast. And it didn't happen. It didn't happen. Nope. In the beginning of the second round, she came out and she got hit with some good shots. And the rest of the fight was over after that. Dobson, I thought, looked amazing in terms of she took the grunt of the shots. She landed some clean shots coming out in the second. She knew that she was tired after she had landed those clean shots. She just kept putting the pressure. She, I guess, apparently had trained at elevation, which makes complete sense, but which kind of concerns me a little bit. Who the hell is Agapova's coaches at ATT? She trains at elevation. You know she's going to have good conditioning. Like, why would you do that? Like, why would you go out there and just try and stick and move, touch her up?
But you know that her coaches did not tell her, I want you to go out there and go just ape shit crazy.
Yeah, that was just stupid.
That's not what they did. They should have been. Relax, slow down, take your time.
Pick and choose your shots.
Yeah, but hey, sometimes you need these moments because it all comes down. Yeah, it's a loss, but it's a learning experience.
Yeah.
And I don't think she'll ever make that same mistake again because this is where you got to, you get into fighters' mind. There's times when fighters will come out and will just put it all out on the line in the first 2 minutes of the fight because they took the fight last minute and they know I've only got this much gas. And if I can't get rid of my opponent in the first little bit of this, I'm going to run out of gas and I'm going to end up losing. So they'll go for it. All right. That's one way of them trying to actually win the fight because they're saying, if I try to fight this and I let this thing go long, I know I'm going to run out of gas and it's not going to be good. So they try to get rid of their opponent fast. That should have never have been her position because she knew about the fight. So she had to be training for it. And she's a young fighter, 23 years of age. There's a lot to learn. You don't know what you don't know until you know.
But why would you call her out? That's my thing. Like, why would you call her out?
Did she call? I don't know if she called.
No, they
Dobson
showed the replay
out.
of her calling Dobson out after her last fight. She said, Shayna Dobson, you've been dodging me, da-da-da-da. She's like, I'd like to get that. Basically, I'm like, that's not going to look good. To like, if you're a promoter, you're calling people. I get it. Maybe you thought it was a rise and, and like, hey, you thought you could beat her, but you can't call people out and then lose like that.
Well, you can. She just did. But it does not look good.
Does not look good. Does not look good. And the hype train's gone now.
Oh,
it's done.
Yeah,
because her last fight, I came in here like, damn, did you see that girl?
She looked great,
shit.
man. Yeah, she was all over it. Poor Hannah, and she had her hands full, and she couldn't breathe. But this time, completely different. But I always look at it. She's young. And she's got a long career. And as long as you learn from those mistakes and you go, I'm never going to do that again. Let me be smart. Then it was worth it.
Well, she had the length and the reach and everything on her. I don't understand why she didn't just stick and move. And apparently she's a better boxer. She's got that reach. I was like, man, you should have just kept doing that stick and move. And the opening will eventually come.
That's it.
You can't go looking for it. It'll happen. Let the fight progress in front of you. And just utilize all the tools that you have. She didn't have that. She didn't even try. She has it. She just didn't use it, I should say.
But it takes maturing as a fighter to know. You knew, when you were fighting, hey, you want to win every minute. Yeah. You want to win every exchange, but it's not going to happen. All right. There's going to be those minutes that you go, man, I got to get it back together, and you're just not going to win it. But it's not about winning every minute or every exchange. It's about winning the majority of the minutes, winning the majority of the exchanges. That's what you're always looking towards because, there's going to be moments when your opponent hits you with a good shot and you need time to back off and you need to do smart things. And that comes with maturity because everyone's got it in their mind. Tell me when you were young as a fighter. When you got hit, did it not piss you off and you wanted to immediately go forward and punch your opponent to return the favor?
No, it didn't piss me off, but I did want to immediately go back and let them know it didn't hurt me. So I was like, okay,
that's exactly it.
You hit me with your best shot. I'm going to show you that it didn't hurt me. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Right away. When it doesn't matter if it's right away. Yeah. It just matters that I'm going to hit you back. Yeah. And that just comes with maturity as a fighter and understanding, hey, I don't have to win every second of this. I just have to win the majorities.
That's just a mental warfare that I think not only for yourself, but you're trying to put your opponent in a position to think like, okay, well, I just hit him with a fucking really hard shot. It didn't do anything.
When you hit your opponent with your best shot, he goes, and it's like no reaction. You go, son of a bitch. Yep. I got it. And again, in that position, you as the fighter just got to say, just got to do it again. Just got to do it again. Just got to do it again. and it's tough, but that is something you learn, and it usually takes an experience like this for a fighter to realize, hey, I can't just run through people.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Yep. What else? Who else on that?
Interesting though.
Pull up this.
Well, I'll tell you what. Was it Slow Rodriguez? God, he looked good. That elbow he threw inside was clean, man. There was two. There was there was the one in the preliminaries, the Beverly Hills Ninja. Okay. That was the tie. You talk about a guy with a good tie plum, and a guy that does not know how to get out of that tie plum correctly in that situation, because he grabbed that tie plum and Ivan did not know. I just as I was watching, I was almost watching like Anderson Silva against Rich Franklin again, a guy who thinks he can get out of a tie plum one way, and when it doesn't work, then he doesn't have plan B or another way to get out. And he took some big knees inside. The kid opened up with a spinning wheel kick and actually hit him with it. It was like, well, that's nice.
Are you talking about the prelim?
Yeah, prelim fight.
Isaac Villanueva.
Yeah, Isaac
and
Villanueva
Wright.
One that was Jordan
Wright.
He's the Beverly Hills Ninja.
I wonder if he's from Beverly Hills.
That kid's good. Well, he's from California. There, he's training with Anthony Hardunk and Vladdy Matyushenko as his coaches and stuff.
Vlad.
So
old school Vlad.
Yeah, old school Vladdy, man.
Jesus, man. But you were talking about was it Rodriguez? No, it was.
Yeah, that was the co-main.
Yeah.
He is long, lanky, and I'm gonna make a comparison to John Jones, but I'm not gonna say that he's going to be a John Jones.
No, but he's got a similar build.
Yeah, he's got a little bit similar build. I mean, John's obviously a little bit more muscular and looks the part a little bit more.
Yeah.
But the style kind of reminds me a little bit. Like he did some stuff that was like, oh, wow, the jumping knee, the tight elbow quarters that obviously had some good effects. I mean, that where he clinched and was able to pull him down into the knees.
And
Nicely done.
Nicely done, man.
Yeah,
I was like, and then the way that, because he kept the single collar and brought that elbow through, that elbow fucking blasted him.
Yeah.
And then the shots that he landed on the ground, man, Mike Rodriguez looked good.
Yeah, he looked really good.
You talk about giving an opportunity to come out and make a statement. Dude, he made it because Marcin is a good, tough fighter. He's got a lot of good wins. And
can you scroll up a little bit on the other guy? On Mike Rodriguez. Yeah, you go. Yeah, I'm looking at Mike Rodriguez. I want to see. He had a no contest, then he lost to Da Eun Jung in North Korea.
In North Korea?
Sorry, South Korea. Did I say North Korea?
You did.
In South Korea.
He was fighting Kim Jong-un.
Yeah. And then Devin Clark. Oh, he lost to Devin. Interesting. He's good, man. He's good.
He looked really good.
He looked phenomenal. I thought everything about him looked good. He's got I think he kind of was letting the fight progress in front of him, settle into the fight and stuff, but he's got to be careful because Marcin was throwing some heat and he took one or two decent shots in there. I mean, against guys.
But he took him well.
Yeah, he did.
Took him well.
He did. But then you could see it was like, okay, now it's time for me to get into my groove. Flying knee came up, then he got into the clinch, a couple knees, couple elbows. Then the elbows that finished it all off is pretty impressive. Yeah, I thought he looked really good. The kid that really impressed me though was, go back to the card, is the fight right before that. The kid that looked like he was real proper looking. Yeah, Joe Solecki.
Oh, Joe Solecki. Well, he trains with John Salter.
I know, I heard
John
that.
Salter is his coach.
He looked phenomenal. His stand-up looked good. Everything looked clean.
He's looked good in his last couple fights, man. He's turned it on.
Is Matt Wyman still fighting?
That was his return fight. Joe Solecki fought Matt Wyman and just pounded him.
Wow. I mean, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but that caught me way off guard. I was like, holy shit, he's still fighting? Anyways, but no, he looked phenomenal. He's like they were talking, Dom was talking, his hands were glued to his chin.
Nice and tight and straight shots.
Not a whole lot of wasted movement.
And the whole thing, what he did when he had the back and he's got the figure four and the way he's holding the figure four, he's putting a lot of pressure on Austin Hubbard to hold that weight correctly. So I mean, everyone thinks that, well, Salicki's leg's going to go dead. Well, it can, but Austin Hubbard's got to carry that weight, and it's not like carrying a weight that's just across your back and it's steady. It's moving all the time because he's moving, and so you're always having to adjust that movement. But it was what he did with his arms up top and the way that he set up the choke. He just took his time. He was very meticulous and just not trying to sit there and squeeze when he didn't have anything. He just kept moving his arms through, just basically trying to disguise which arm he was going to try to attack with. And then when the opportunity came and Hubbard lost control of the one, he slips it through, boom, locks it in, just starts squeezing down nice. Yeah. Didn't go crazy. Nice, even squeeze, getting tighter and tighter, and gets the tap. It was just you look at a guy and you go, yep, I understand why he trains with John Salter, because he's obviously learning how to do things right, because he looked a lot like Salter when he got the back.
Yeah, he looked really good. I was very impressed. I was impressed with his stand-up. He was winning the stand-up exchanges. There was no wasted movement. He went punch, right down the pipe, straight punches. He looked clean. Like, I was like,
yeah, wow, his stand-up looks better than Salter's.
Yeah. That's not saying
that comes from Jimmo.
I like Salter as a fighter, but let's be
real. So do I. Yeah, he's great.
Stand-up is no. No, but I mean, Selecki looked great. I thought he looked phenomenal. He's going to have a kid in 3 weeks. Congratulations. Yeah. But everything he did was proper. But with Hubbard, I got to just tell you, I got to tell this to every fighter. Defending a submission, defending from the back, standing is dumb.
Crazy.
It's just stupid. Just fall down and defend one side.
Like fall down with your face up.
Yeah,
don't fall.
No, I would say like fall. I would normally say like
go to one side or the other.
Yeah, go fall to one side or the other. But I would pick a side the side they have the underhook side. I would pick that side to fall.
Whatever
on.
the side that he's got that figure 4 to also. If he's got the figure 4
sometimes they're opposite
towards your right side. What's that?
Yeah, sometimes they're opposite though. So like he was trying to choke on the right, but his lock was on the left, or vice versa. Yeah, whatever. He was during moments of that exchange.
Yeah. Yep.
But I understand that. But for me, look, the way I look at the back escapes is, if you're going to stand, you're going to stand and try and defend. Okay, do me a favor. Go look up some of Gilbert Melendez's fight. He calls the hula hoop, and he teaches you how to get out of that figure 4 by standing, and he drags the knee around and puts the person in front of them and just slams them, or gets them a little bit to the side so the choke is not there anymore, and he clears his arm to come behind them. So then they end up in your guard, and he can slam you, and then he can do some damage and work, and he'll slam you against the fence. If you guys are going to do things like that, or if that ever presents an opportunity for you to do that, take a look at what Gilbert Melendez does, because he's been doing that for years, and no one's ever really learned how to stop it. So he's pretty good at getting to that position. The other thing is, for me, if you're going to do that, if that was me, is I would fall to whatever side they have. Like normally they call it the seatbelt, right? So they have one arm over, which that's the choking side. That's the one that could choke me. I don't fall to that side. Don't fall to that side.
Go to the opposite.
The side
that's where people make mistakes.
Yeah.
They think this is that arm that's going to be the one that's going to come across your neck. That's the one that I want to. No. Opposite side.
Yeah. So then fall to that side. But then also too, the next thing is, the common mistake is for people that want to make a splash to the audience or to whoever is there. They throw themselves back. Yeah, they jump and throw themselves back. But your natural reaction, whether you think it's not happening or not, is your chin raises. And that makes it easier for them to catch the submission as you hit or land or as you're in the air. So those are things you shouldn't do. But I would pick the side that has the underhook side, and I would just fall to that side and just defend that one side. It's easier for you to get out. You're only worried about one side. When he's on your back, you have to defend the right side, the left side. You have to defend him pushing your head down. You have to defend him pulling you backwards. Hubbard did a good job of keeping, Selecki's back to the fence for a while. But then Selecki was able to kind of use his elbows and other things like that to push him so his back wasn't against the fence anymore, which was smart. But if you're not using the fence to keep your base, then you're, like you said, you're carrying the guy's weight and he's moving around. When he's moving around, you're using a lot of energy. It's a ton of energy. Don't get me wrong. It's a lot of energy for Selecki to stay up there.
Both.
But it's a ton of energy for you to carry somebody else. It just is. So those are just my tips. My advice to these young fighters or other fighters that potentially may happen is go look up Gilbert's videos about how he does the hula hoop, how he gets people off his back from standing.
Good advice.
And then on top of that is pick a side, man. Fall down to the side they have the underhook side, and then the side they can't choke you on, and start defending that way. It's a lot better. You know, you're also a lot more familiar with defending the submission from the ground, because that's normally when you train, that's what happens. You're not very often do you stand up in the gym and train defending the submission from the back, because a lot of guys don't do that in the gym. Like, you know, you start touching hands on the ground, you start grappling on the ground. You guys don't really start on the feet. You know, occasionally it happens in sparring, but it's not going to happen all the time. You're not as good as defending the submission standing up as you are on the ground. So just my advice for all you young guys.
Good advice.
Guys, you know. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
That's good advice. It really is. Well, you don't think about it, but you do. I mean, every time you're in, you know, jiu-jitsu practice or grappling, whatever you're going to have at your gym, you figure you're always on the ground defending the chokes. But how often are you working at defending a choke from the standing position? Not very often.
I want you guys to hear that. John said good advice. So you guys remember that when you guys are clicking the buy button for that t-shirt. Okay. Blue t-shirt. You hit my.
Okay, there you go. There you go.
Don't buy the red one. Buy the blue one. Just letting you guys know. Okay. Whatever. Or you can go neutral. You can buy the black. Like John's got the black one. I actually kind of like that one.
Black one's good.
I like that one.
Something about black. I don't know.
So that to me was the fight that really impressed me tonight, because he looked so clean. He made it look so easy.
Made it look easy.
And Hubbard's tough, but it was like I thought he looked really good from beginning.
Well, Hubbard's the
end.
kid that had the fight where what was it? I can't say his name right.
Max Roshkov.
Yeah, the Roshkov, where he ended up quitting on the stool.
Yeah.
You know,
yep.
That was Robert Drysdale.
Drysdale's Van Arsdale.
Yeah.
Drysdale's guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff though, man.
That's where he got his win. So
yeah, he just couldn't get it going. He couldn't get it.
Nope.
There was never a moment where he was in that fight at all.
No, I didn't think so either. You know, they were saying, "Oh, he's looking good." I'm thinking, no, he's a second behind here.
Yeah.
So, but let's talk about Frankie Edgar.
Let's do it. Let's do it,
dude. That was a fantastic fight by both guys. And
yes,
each round was really close. So, you know, I don't care how someone judged.
I don't think round 3 was
close.
Like I don't think round 3 was close.
I don't think round 2 was close.
Frankie won that round.
Round 2 was Frankie Edgar.
Yeah.
That was a good round. He landed some really good shots in that one.
And I thought, okay, so then we both agree that round 2 was Frankie's and round 3 was Pedro's.
Yep.
Dominantly, for sure.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah. No doubt about it. But, I mean, the first round, you can look at volume, I think, by Edgar, even though if you look at their punch stats, it didn't show it, but Frankie was touching him with combinations, 1, 2, 3. It was really nice. But Pedro was that low calf kick.
Yeah.
You could see it right off the start. It started to have an effect. And he was landing the heavier blows overall. So it's one of those rounds where, what are you going to give credit to? The 5th round, I thought was Frankie's. I thought that Frankie landed a volume that was effective. It was the effectiveness of his shots, where Pedro landed shots at times, but the effect that I saw from Frankie's was just better. The one thing that really, I was really concerned with and not sure how would the speed factor of Frankie Edgar transfer going down into that bantamweight division. And because I know Pedro is fast, and I think that they were even in speed. I thought Frankie was just as fast.
I thought Frankie was faster, and the reason why I think he was faster is
you thought he was fast?
I thought he was faster than Pedro. The reason why, there's a couple reasons why. Pedro was loading up for the first half of the fight.
No doubt about it.
So that it made Frankie faster. And then in the beginning portion of the fight, the reason why Frankie was faster is Frankie wasn't really throwing punches as he was stepping in. He was just making the noise. And so Pedro, it's true. Pedro, what he would do, he thought the punches were coming and they never came. He would just cover up and back up. So anytime you fight someone that's a little bit faster than you, it gets you flinching, it makes you faster also. So he was able to land shots. And Pedro knew, and I'm going to give Dom some credit here. Pedro knew that the punches weren't really going to hurt him all that. They weren't that hard. That it was 2 and 3. And he's like, okay, look, I'm just going to start taking them and then try and counter right away and land the big shot. But his corner and coaches told him at the end of the second, I think it was, is that you're loading up. Stop loading up. And he stopped loading up. And then 3rd and 4th, he had some good rounds.
Yeah.
So I thought that at the leg kicks, he got away from the leg kicks altogether in the 2nd round because of the takedowns, though. And Frankie got away from the takedowns in the 3rd round, and they got back on him a little bit on the 4th. And he threatened one, I think, in the 5th and got one, but then Pedro jumped right back up. Yeah, he jumped right back up. I thought you and I were texting back and forth throughout the fight. I gave Frankie the first. It was close, but I gave Frankie the first. I gave Frankie the second. And I had Pedro winning the third and the fourth. And then I had Frankie winning the fifth. I had texted you. I said it was 2-2 going into the thing. You're like, no, it's going to be. And I was like, okay.
I had it Pedro winning the first. That was the difference.
That was the difference. Yep.
Yeah.
So I just want to remind people that I was right. So that was.
I don't know if you were right.
Such a close fight.
I was glad that Frankie won, but it's a good fight.
It was such a close fight. I thought what solidified Frankie the fifth round was that big right hand that he landed. It went straight down the pipe, and then Dom even was talking about how it kind of looked like it rocked him or sat him back in his seat a little bit. I wouldn't say it rocked him, but it stopped him in his tracks and made him sit back a little bit. And then, because he was landing already a lot of the cleaner shots in the round, then he landed that one, and that sat Pedro back. And it's like, okay, so he's landing the harder shot as well. Now here in the fifth. I think that's what won in the round, to be honest.
Well, I'm looking at the scorecards right now because Dave put them up on the screen here.
Mm-hmm.
Second round, every judge went with Frankie Edgar. First round, 2 of the judges went with Pedro Munhoz.
Wow.
1 judge went with Frankie Edgar. Second round, all the judges went with Frankie, which they should have. Third round was not all for Pedro Munhoz. You had 2 of the judges giving Pedro the third round, 1 giving it to Frankie.
Wow.
Fourth round, all the judges went with Pedro Munhoz, which they should have.
Yep.
And then fifth round, you had 2 of the judges going with Frankie and 1 of the judges going with Pedro.
Interesting.
So they were only locked in on 2 rounds.
Wow.
Second and fourth. But we talked about it. I thought the third round was definitely Pedro.
I thought the third round was Pedro's also. I thought the fourth could have been a toss, but they gave that one all to Pedro. So yeah, I had it 2-2 going into the fifth, and then I thought Frankie won the fifth. So good exchanges. But here's the thing: you're gonna always deal with that type of scenario with Frankie. He's been that way his whole life, his whole career. Outside of the Chad Mendes fight. I mean, with the BJ Penn fights, he would step in, touch you, and bounce out. He's done it to a lot of guys. The only guy I think really he had a hard time doing that with was Jose Aldo because of the kicks and just the speed factor. Seemed like it wasn't that big of a speed factor. The kicks and the knees had a big difference in that as well. What else? Who else? I mean, Max was just so long he could never get in.
Yeah, his problem was getting inside. This is the first time I think he's ever fought that I've seen where he had an actual reach advantage. I was like,
true.
Damn, Frankie Edgar's got a reach advantage. That's pretty
true.
good, man. That's crazy.
True.
But I love the pressure that Pedro was very smart in creating that pressure that he was, for the most part of the fight, he continued on with it. And he did a good job of cutting Frankie off from his movement and forcing him at times trying to set up his right hand. He did a good job with that. And Frankie a couple times, he realized you're forcing me over there, and he tried to get himself back, and he kind of looked a little odd going against the cage, trying to get out of the way of going to that side. So, but just a fantastic performance by both guys. I mean, I hate to see anyone lose in that type of fight. And it was a split decision. It should have been. It's understandable that the judges were split on that, and it was just a great fight by both guys. I'd love to see it again.
There was moments there I would like to see it again as well. Later on down the road, though.
Yeah, I know Frankie doesn't want to because his leg's feeling good. And Pedro, I think Pedro, his leg's going to be hurting tomorrow because Frankie checked a lot of those. Yeah. He ate a lot of them, but he checked a lot of them too. So it's going to be, they're both going to be sore tomorrow, man.
Gosh, man, we were talking about like, I'm going to do it again. I'm like, nah, because you guys people at home don't seem to understand what you see.
Ice is your best friend, baby.
Yeah, when you leave, like the energy level is there. They get a drink in them or two, and they're walking around that night. But when they wake up in the morning,
it's a car crash.
It's just you feel like you can't decide whether you've been in a car crash or if you're drunk. You're extremely drunk because you're trying to drink the pain away that night because it hurts so bad. I mean, I can't even explain it, man. I said with the second Gill fight, I had to sleep with a neck roll pillow sitting up on my couch because I couldn't put my head down because I had lumps all over my head. There were so many lumps for 3 days straight. I had to sit sleeping up in my couch with a neck roll pillow. like that, and I put pillows all around me so I didn't fall left and right. I slept sitting up like that. It was horrible for 3 nights. Yeah, it was miserable. So
it's a good life.
Oh,
it's a good life.
Just disgusting. It's just disgusting. Oh, what was that?
Dave was putting up that the UFC announced a big fight with Amanda Nunes against Megan Anderson. I'm sorry, that's not a big.
It's not a big fight.
And then Dan
not at all.
Jack Hermanson.
And then that's a good fight though. Hermanson and
Darren Till.
And Darren Till. That should be a good fight.
That's a good fight.
Hermanson's tough.
Dude, he's crazy good.
He's so good.
He's awkward. He's so awkward, dude.
Yeah, interesting.
But he's good. He's tough.
Just trying to load up some news for when you're done with Bellator, so you got.
Well, no, we can talk. Why don't we talk about some of the UFC news now?
Okay.
Or do you want to talk about all the news at the end? Do you want to do the news at the end?
Let me see. Got this one. I've got this. Dominic Reyes upset about only having 6 weeks for the title shot.
Okay, that's stupid. I love Dom, but you got a title shot. Don't complain, dude.
If you're already
6 weeks.
bitching and you're not even the fucking champion, shut up. Like that, you're just making you're making the promotion go. All right, what do we?
Oh, maybe I'll put somebody else there. Yep.
Yeah.
Come on, man. You're getting a title shot. 6 weeks is enough time.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's perfect.
No.
But it's definitely enough.
That's plenty of time. I mean, have you been training? Or are you fat out of shape?
Well,
what have you been doing? Point. Have you been running? What
if you are a professional and you have been doing what you should be doing, you're in semi-decent shape right now.
Yeah, you should.
So you use that 6 weeks to hone things, to look at tape, to figure out a game plan and start to figure out how to implement what you're going to do. Hit those points, you're in shape, you're ready to go.
Majority of fighters' careers, especially, I don't know, how old is Dom? 20,
He's young.
28, 29, anyways. So however old he is, at that stage in your career, like you should be training all the time. That's one. Two is, it doesn't take you long to get back in shape. So even if you're not really training all the time and you're still whatever gallivanting around, okay, like it should only take you a certain amount of time to get back in shape. It doesn't take you long. He's 30. So that's perfect. You're in your prime. Shouldn't take you long. The other thing is at that stage, your camps really shouldn't be any longer than 6-7 weeks, maybe. You know, like that's kind of the push. Like you have 2 weeks of like kind of easing yourself in and then you have a 6-week camp. So, okay, you don't have your opponent has the same amount of time. I would understand if like his opponent knew 4 weeks ago, but he didn't. No one knew because John was still the champion.
Well, it's also, yeah, and let's give Dom the benefit of the doubt. It's a news story, so it might be that he didn't actually say it that way, but the media put it out that way.
He literally said, "Come on, bro." He said, "It's a championship fight, and you're going to give me 6 weeks' notice on a co-main. Come on, bro." That's a quote. He's like, "It takes time to prepare, man. I want to get out there and get and freaking put on a hell of a show for the fans. I want to do some dope shit. I want to sleep him, choke him out, whatever. I want to get an astonishing finish, and that takes film study. It takes time. It takes a little bit more than 6 weeks."
You got plenty of time for film study.
Film study is like 10 minutes.
I'm sorry.
It's not like, here's the problem. Film study. What do you mean film study? Like you see these guys fight all the time, especially the ones in your weight bracket.
Well, you should have been.
You know, so you should know this guy. Like,
and even if you don't, how much film are you going to watch?
Yeah, it's not like it's not like
if you watch 2 hours of film a day, that's a ton.
Yeah, there's no way he's doing that. He must have been out just getting after it, and he's getting a little nervous now. He's getting a little nervous now. Here's the other thing too. Hey, buddy, we can give it to someone else.
Exactly. That's the whole thing, man. Never ever complain when they give you a title shot. What are you doing?
Already, man. Jeez. Anyways, and the Megan Anderson. Did Megan win her last fight? Are we at that stage now where
I think she did. She did win her last fight, I believe.
Where Amanda's fighting people that haven't won on. Well, not coming off of a win. Oh, she did. She won her last two.
Okay. She won her last two.
She lost to Felicia Spencer. That's right.
Yeah.
That's how. But it's been a while.
But who did she beat? Take a look.
Zara Fon dos Santos and Norma Demont Viana. All first round finishes.
Yeah. What are their records?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's click on these.
You're not talking about.
You could just click the name.
Quality of opponents.
I was just letting you know because you seem a little slow these days. 6-4. What's the next one?
Oh yeah, 6-4.
Hey,
World beater.
what's her name that fought tonight? Against Agapova.
She was 3-4.
She was 3-4.
3-4. Yeah. Dodson.
This girl's 4-1. It's not bad.
4-1.
I know. I get it.
Come on. How young?
I get it.
Yeah, you're going to sit there and that's what your stepping stone is for going against possibly the best female fighter in the world.
Yeah.
Okay. No, sorry, you're not. And I like Megan. It's just that I look and go, it's not a fight where I look and go, she's got a chance. Yeah, she's got it. Everyone's got a puncher's chance going in. Anything can happen, but she is not going to beat Amanda Nunes. She's just not going to do it
Outside of a
fluke. And so if I know the fight going in, what do I care?
Yeah. So it's not
That's
a big
the
fight.
problem.
So if Amanda, the only way I see it.
And that's a pay-per-view. And this
oh,
is
wow.
why,
Really?
That's my point is why they're putting this on a pay-per-view. And it's like, you want people to pay money for a fight that they know the result before it happens?
Wow.
It's not the one, it's the Frankie Edgars versus Pedro Munhoz.
Yeah.
That you go, man, either person can win that fight. That's going to be a great fight. That's a tough fight. That's what you're looking for. Now, their problem is, I don't think they have anybody that they can put against Amanda Nunes where they can have that situation. So, good on Amanda for being that good. And I'm sorry to the UFC if they have that problem, but they better put another fight ahead of that one for the main event, because
wouldn't the main event be or no, that's not the main event. That's Dom and them said they're the co-main, correct?
That's what I'm saying.
Interesting. I would have thought they would have maybe had her fight Holly Holm again. Holly's getting up in age. Like you got to get it in there though at some point.
They got Holly. Holly's fighting coming up.
Who's she fighting?
Got to fight.
Up here.
Brazilian girl. I can't think of her name.
I just saw it. It's Aldana.
Thank you.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's kind of the updates on the fight cards. Oh, Smith and what's his name? Go back down. And Rakic.
Smith and Rakic.
Rakic. Yeah, and then you have Adesanya.
That's a good fight.
Smith and Rakic is good.
That's a good fight. And then Costa against freaking Israel.
Oh, that's gonna be a fucking
holy
barn
but
burner.
Jesus. Now that's the one you go. Someone's always got to go.
It's gonna be fucking crazy.
This is a card. The Adesanya Costa is the card that I think. I want to say that's the one that Dominic Reyes is a co-main title one on. But
oh really?
I actually thought they were a sooner date. Oh no, it is that one. That one.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, the co-main on this one.
Hold on. Isn't the Adesanya versus Costa fight in September? End of September?
Yeah,
September 26th. Yeah. So
Okay.
Reyes and Blachowicz is a co-main to that card, to that fight.
Okay.
I was just confirming.
September 20. He's just confirming that's the.
Okay.
So then where's Amanda Nunes? When's that fight taking
December.
place?
December.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, it's way off.
Yeah, they're gonna have to have someone else on there.
Yes.
They'll see where the chips fall and maybe someone comes away. If one of these champs comes away with unscathed, then they'll try and throw that into the main event. I can't imagine them having them be the main event.
Khabib versus George St. Pierre.
Yeah, that won't happen that early. But did you see GSP's picture of him working out?
Yes, I
Good
did.
God, he looks lean and he looks amazing. This is insane. I don't think it's gonna happen, to be honest. But I love when he posts pictures like that because it keeps the talking going. It keeps it,
man. He's been so smart about what he's doing, man.
Oh, he is.
You gotta look and go, way to go, brother.
Brilliant.
He keeps on staying out there.
Fucking savage.
Yep. Yeah.
That guy's a savage, man.
His
His face looks skinnier in the picture on the bottom left in the white shirt. He just looks like a smaller. He's probably walking around. I'd say probably like 70.
172.
Yeah, 70, 72, somewhere in there, right? Yeah. He looks lean, man. He looks good. What is he, 40 years old? He will be 40.
39, I think.
Yeah.
Isn't he 39?
Yep. And remember when I talked to you guys, a week or two ago, I think 2 weeks ago on the show, I said, if you go back, I'd had GSP or not GSP. I'd had Khabib on my show a long time ago, and he had laid out a game plan of what it was, what he would like things to be. He was going to win the title, and after he won the title, he was going to fight like only 2 or 3 times, defend his title, and then he wanted to fight GSP. And after fighting GSP, he would retire. But in that process, he was waiting for Islam Makhachev to make his way up. Well, guess what? He's fighting not Junior, but he's fighting
Justin Gaethje.
No, not Khabib. No, I'm talking about
talking
Islam.
about Islam.
Islam's fighting Dos Anjos.
Dos Anjos.
Yeah, so he's fighting Dos Anjos. So when he fights Dos Anjos, that puts him right in that talk in the top 6 or 8 now versus, being number 15 or 14 or whatever he is. That puts him right in that conversation. So when they fight on that same card, and then after that, you'll see Islam fight one more time,
12.
Potentially get to the title. Who is?
Islam is 12 right now?
12, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. They've got Islam behind some people they should not have him behind.
Yeah, who's on that list ahead of him?
I think
Beneil
Dariush is right in front of him. Yeah, Al Quinta, love Al. He does not belong in front of Israel. I'm sorry. Can't beat him. Kevin Lee isn't even fighting. So
yeah,
right now, it's
I think
Oliveira's
he
good.
beats Felder.
Hooker.
I think he beats Felder. I would say he beats Oliveira, but Oliveira does post some nasty threats on the ground, and he's good on the feet as well. He's just one of those guys you can never count him out because he can go anywhere the fight wants to go. Size wise, though, it's definitely gonna go to Islam. So if they did fight, I think Islam could just muscle him around and smash him.
Got to be careful of submissions because if there's one thing that Oliveira is good, he's got to. You talk about. There's just difference in the way guys apply submissions and how they set them up. For MMA, that Bronx is the shit. Yeah. He sets up submissions so well, so slick, so good. His biggest problem is he tends to get tired in the fight. And once he gets tired, the wheels start coming off the cart. But man, if you're dry and he's fresh, look out.
Yeah.
But
him and Hooker would be, I think, Khabib or not Khabib, but Islam and Hooker would be a good fight. That'd be another good fight I'd like to see.
That would be a good fight.
Where's what's his name? Oh, scroll up. Okay, that's what I was like. Dustin Poirier. I was like, where's Dustin? I didn't see him.
He's got to be above.
Yeah, he's up there. So,
and then you might even be able to put Michael Chandler in that list.
That'd be interesting.
I'd like to see Islam against Michael.
He was teasing Eddie Alvarez fight, so wasn't he?
No, he was teasing a bunch of fights. He teased Dustin Poirier. He teased
Conor McGregor.
Yeah,
a bunch of different ones.
Yeah, he was talking about a bunch of.
But look at you. You could put him in there, and it could be interesting if you're taking a look at their list of their top lightweights. Yeah, if he came in, I could see them putting him against a Dan Hooker or a Paul Felder.
Yeah,
in that first fight right away. That would be the level. I don't think they'd go any lower than Paul Felder. That would be probably the lowest they would go on the list for if he signed, who they would go with. So it could be one of those 3: Felder, Oliveira, or Hooker. I would say. I don't think they would put Dustin Poirier against him right away. No. I think that would be like his second fight.
No, I think
if he won.
But it really comes down to the money. It's whatever he gets money wise.
Well, if he gets big money,
they're gonna put him right up there and say, hey, they're gonna say Tony Ferguson, they're gonna say Dustin Poirier, they're gonna say Gaethje, they're gonna get up in that conversation with those guys. I think stylistically he matches up well with Dustin Poirier. No knock on Dustin at all. And I think he matches up well with Dan Hooker.
Yes, he does.
And Paul Felder.
I agree.
And Paul Felder. The guys in
the other guy that I think honestly he matches up with, Oliveira, Michael Chandler. That's a good matchup for him because of the fact, yes, and this is why. Michael has been caught in a ton of submissions. He's never been submitted.
Yeah,
he's tough when it comes to working his way through submissions. He doesn't give in. If you put him in he's been in like knee bars where I've seen his
Marcin held
hyperextended. Yeah, just keeps on working his way to gets his way out. So, not that I'm saying that Oliveira couldn't catch him in a submission. He could, but I think Chandler with his wrestling and his strength is a bad matchup for Oliveira.
I can see that. Yeah, I don't think they're like. I think like there's those guys that are predominantly stand-up guys.
Yeah.
With not a huge submission threat. Those are the guys that should be concerned. You know, I know Oliveira, but Oliveira's not a big 55-pounder.
Because he could go 45.
He's tall and skinny.
Used to.
Yeah, he's tall and skinny. He's just not a big 45-pounder. So size-wise, strength-wise, but it depends. If it is a main event, Oliveira's got a gas tank, and that guy will keep going in fourth and fifth. You know, I mean, I don't know if he has like the Benson Henderson type gas tank.
He doesn't.
You know what I mean? So
yeah,
but he's got a pretty good gas tank. Oh, Dustin proved he's got a good gas tank. Fucking Dan Hooker. Hooker is huge.
Yo, dude.
Did you see the video of him and Israel Adesanya working out? And Hooker's like probably the same height,
Hooker
or like
looks
a little bit
almost the same
shorter,
size.
almost the same size. I know they're not the same size, but he looked it in the video. I was like, good heavens.
They look very close. Hooker's big. 155 pounder, man. Yeah. I don't know how he does it, but he's a good fighter.
He's fun. What I like, man. I love guys like that. I love guys like that, man. I love watching guys that fight like. How has he got 9 losses?
Because he didn't do well in the beginning of his career.
Oh, he lost to Barboza. He lost to Jason Knight.
Yeah, remember Jason Knight?
No, I remember
Crazy
him.
Jason. Suffered shit.
No, I remember him. I'm like, wow, you lost to him, Yair. You know, Maximo. I was supposed to fight that guy like 3 or 4 times. Yeah. Crazy. That's crazy. I mean, it makes for interesting stuff. If he's gonna go, if Chandler does go to the UFC, which I don't think he will, I think he'll make a little trek over to one. I think that's where he ends up. I think there's the guys there. Not a lot of those guys have great wrestling. They have good stand up though, as Eddie found out. But you know, they don't have really good grappling. They don't have really good wrestling, but they've got some great kickboxing. A lot of Muay Thai over there. A lot of good kickboxers over there. Big power too. But and then it sets up the Eddie fight, you know, and I know that they've got money to throw around for something like that. So I know Eddie's making a killing over there. Chandler would probably be right in line to try and do something like that over there as well. Just don't know if he wants to travel all the way from Nashville to Singapore.
Well, I think it all comes down. What it will tell you is what is Michael interested in, really? Yeah. Because if Michael goes to one, it's telling me it's all about the money, and that's okay. I have no problem with that at all. No problem with that at all. And,
I agree.
You know, my hat's off to you. It's great. You're looking at taking care of your family, setting yourself up for the rest of your life. Great. Do it. If he goes to the UFC, it's going to be for less money. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
And it's about ego. And that's okay. Because you're looking and saying, I've got to do this. I got to prove who I am and what I believe I can do. I've been doing this over in Bellator for this long, and I know that I can do it here, and I'm going to prove it to you. It's my ego. Okay, great. That's all right too. You know, but either way, it's going to say what is the most important thing.
Money.
That's my take.
Money.
Well, if it is, then I think you're right. I think he's going to go to one.
I would say money. I think he'd be foolish if he went to the UFC. Just my personal opinion. You're going to take less money than Bellator was going to pay you.
Oh, absolutely.
Or maybe they're going to pay you the same. But I don't see the reason why you would go there then. I don't see the reason why. You know, you can't. I'd go to one. If I was him, I would go to one. Because the Eddie fight is there. You're going to get paid a fucking shitload of money to fight that fight again. And, you know, and there's other guys there that you can out wrestle and you could probably out jiu-jitsu for sure. And you can stand with them too. I wouldn't make a habit of it depending on some of them are.
That's not a good game plan over there.
You know, it's not a great game plan.
Being on the ground over there is a good thing.
Yeah. And he's got good ground and pound. He's got vicious ground and pound. So I think it makes sense, man. I think it makes a lot of sense for him to go over there. But hey, whatever. Or I'm gonna throw a little wrench in there. PFL, make $1 million. Yeah. Make $1 million every time you fight, plus whatever it is they pay you for your fight purse. It makes sense. Lance Palmer has talked about this. I don't know if he talked about it publicly, but he's mentioned it a couple of times to you and I. Why would I go somewhere else and make less money or make the same money? He's
I think we were also saying, why are you going to go somewhere else?
We were saying the same. Because he had got the bug for a while, you know, my whole career, and then I'd never fought.
About the ego.
You know, but he's like, but hey, he's won 2 in a row now. It's $1 million each. And plus his fight purses. Ain't knocking that, man.
Doing well, continue on.
Not knocking that.
Hey, what's your guys' thoughts on right now? I heard that New Japan Pro Wrestling and then AEW are doing they're starting to do like 10% capacity fans. AEW is doing it in Florida with an outdoor arena, and then New Japan's doing it in Japan in a indoor arena. And then also WWE is now doing have you seen the
Screens.
the screens where there's
Yeah.
fans that Skype in pretty much?
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on like that coming into MMA, or maybe like even trying to get that 10% capacity and at Bellator? I don't know if Dana White's going to do that necessarily, but
I just don't think it's worth the hassle right now, and also the liability is mainly the biggest thing. Is like, why would I want to take the liability and the chance of having 10% of my fans? That's not going to make enough money for us to care, and that's like, I'm not for us, but I mean for the promotion to take the chances of potentially someone saying, hey, I got COVID there and I end up with lung damage and then whatever it is. I mean, it's just one of those things. I really don't think it's worth it. I know it's maybe a chance to get back to normalcy. John and I both feel pretty. I think we both feel a little strongly about we're all sick of this. Everyone's sick of this shit. You know what I mean? But if you're talking about the promotion itself, not just Bellator, but I'm talking about major corporations, they're just like, why take the risk until it's actually the government says, okay, let's go ahead and do this. Then the risk is taken off of them. For them not trying to push it. Dana can do that. He can get away with it because they've been doing it the way they've always been doing it, and they're owned by another company.
Well, also Dana's making money when he does a pay-per-view. He's getting good. DC against Stipe
did really well.
Over 500,000 pay-per-view buys. Hey, that's money in the bank. That's a good thing. So they can continue on with what they're doing. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's not as good as having, a gate, and they're losing a lot of money when they don't have the gate. Bellator's losing money when they don't have the gate, but they're also getting that ESPN money, which is big, and they're getting the pay-per-view money. They can survive doing this. Their numbers are not going to be that bad for 2020.
As far as the screens go, I know that the Bellator was going to do that. They weren't even considering it. They were really going to do it, but the problem was the actual arena couldn't handle that amount of cables and systems to go up because you got to put up all those screens. So it just wasn't a viable option for them to do it. So we got into it. They were going to do it. They were going to do exactly what you see the WWE doing right here in this picture.
Yep.
So that was going to happen, but it didn't pan out for them to work it out. What was the other one you were talking about?
10%
capacity.
AEW are doing 10% capacity.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah. So
I do think in some places you're going to start to see, you got to figure there are countries that have not closed down ever.
Yeah.
As far as the way that, things have been done, like in the United States and Canada and things like that. So there are countries that have been open, and you could see a show where, instead of, if it's a 20,000 seat arena, they sell 5,000 seats.
Yeah.
And they social distance within the arena, and that's what your seat is, and that's where you can go, and you've got to be in the seat that you have a ticket for.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that happening coming up somewhere in the fall, talking about, October, November, December, possibly. Yeah, I could see it starting to happen.
AEW starting on Wednesday. They're starting to do it this Wednesday.
Yeah, but you're talking, that's in Florida, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the Florida, the rates are a little bit higher, but the deaths are way low.
Mm-hmm.
So they're willing to go ahead and take the chances, I think, there. The governor has said, open it up to certain things. But
Florida's still a hot state, right?
It's increasing in cases, or it's a gradual increase in cases. But
I think the hospitals also aren't overwhelmed right now.
Nationwide, we've been declining for, they said 5 days or 2, I don't know, something like that. It's been a while, for a couple of weeks now. But did I just say 5 days? Yeah, so it's been, it's
5 days is a couple of weeks.
I think it's been 2 weeks. Yeah, it's a lot going on up there. But Florida, because one of our production guys works there or lives there in Florida, and he said that, yeah, sure, the cases have been rising because people are out and about. He's like, but the deaths are also lower. So they're on a steady decline.
Well, as of yesterday, Florida cases are on the way down.
Oh, there you go. Cool. He was telling us the other day that it was, they're continuously going up. I'm like, all right. So if everything's kind of on the way down, but also too, you need to take into consideration, we have a heat wave going through the U.S. right now. And so they've said already that the virus doesn't live very well in the heat. So it basically non-existent at all. So if that's the case, this may all pucker back up, of course, right around election time.
Thank you.
But sometime around, the end of September, October, when it starts getting a little bit colder, we may start seeing the cases increase again. So I don't know. I mean, and the WHO just came out and said also too, we were talking about how the vaccine won't even be the WHO. Who? Yeah.
Who? Oh, sorry.
They just came out as well and
joke.
said that the vaccine, even if you do take the vaccine, that we'll still see a rise again, probably sometime in
Who the hell's gonna take a vaccine
knowing that it's not gonna? They haven't even
Come
fucking
on.
tested, really.
If you take this vaccine, you're a fucking moron. I'm sorry. Hey, come on.
So
Take
all right.
this vaccine. Oh, nothing will happen to you.
So let's
Start getting a third arm growing out your forehead.
Let's get into Bellator, man. I mean, I got to tell you, fucking the prelim fights were fucking
So good.
fire. The whole card was good. I mean, the prelims were fucking fire from the very first fight to the fucking last fight on the prelims. Every single one of them was just money. I couldn't tell you. Rich Chow and Mike Kogan, they did a phenomenal job of matchmaking this. And
Boy, there were some good ones in there.
oh, they were just if you guys like, I actually text Rich today and I said, these are hands down the best fights that we've ever had in this organization as far as the prelims cards. But just technically, if you go back and watch, there was so much technique used from everybody. I was
go to that Chris
baffled.
Gonzalez-Tokov fight.
Man, it was so
You
good.
talk about a battle.
Yeah.
Those guys were going after each other. And Tokov taking down a guy that was a national team wrestler, taking him down multiple times.
Yeah, but then Gonzalez popping right back up.
Absolutely. Chris Gonzalez looked so good. I was saying during the broadcast, man, he's running at a fast rate. He's burning a lot of energy.
Yeah.
He never slowed down. He
So
looked good throughout that fight, man. He was working hard, but man, that was a good fight.
Yeah, that was an amazing fight.
Outstanding.
The very first fight, we'll go back to the card.
Lucas Brennan.
Yeah, it was a great fight as well. He's young, 20 years old, Chris Brennan's son. And I was supposed to fight Chris several times. We never did fight, but this was back in the old King of the Cage days and fighting in an Indian reservation somewhere, and you had to drive yourself there and figure it all out. Kid's young, he's talented, he's got to work on his stand-up, and they know that though, and they're working on it. His wrestling's pretty good. It's not
wrestling's
great.
good, and his jiu-jitsu his wrestling's good.
It's good.
At
It's
least,
not great.
At least we're not saying great, but when he takes a shot, he does all the right things as far as turning the corners on guys and staging multiple attacks together. Yeah. So as the guy's starting to block the first one, he's already going into the second. So he's got that down. And when he's on top,
oh, he's good.
His ground game, he's good.
Yeah, he does like you were talking about the handcuffed on the broadcast. Did a very good job of handcuffing him, bringing the arm across the neck, and then holding it. So he only has one way to turn. I teach that here at the gym as well, in our MMA class or in our no-gi class. Just forcing them to go the direction you want them to go. And if they don't, it opens it up for shots.
Exactly. Well, you could only go in one direction. The only thing I would have told Lucas to do different is he's got to free that leg and then bring his foot into that hip junction. Yeah. That way you've got him trapped where there's only one way. And as he gives up and starts to go that way, your hook is right inside and it's there for you. But minor things. But
that for 20 years old, I thought he fought a phenomenal fight. Didn't take any damage. Got up, walked around like he did a great job.
Like he was bored.
Yeah, but it was a good fight. Young, 20 years old. That's impressive, man.
He's looking good. 3-0. He's looking good.
His dad was really good back in the day. Good jiu-jitsu guy. Next fight was the one we just talked about before that. But let me see here. He's pulling up.
Yeah, next one was the
Yeah, that was the Tokov and Chris Gonzalez fight. You guys got to watch that fight. We were
John
talking about
DeJesus.
we were talking about the transitions.
16-1 fighter in Parubchenko. Dude, John DeJesus looked good. I talked to him at the airport. He was there, and I told him, hey, man, you looked freaking good.
Wow.
And he goes, oh, I can't believe you said that. I go, what, man? You look fucking great.
Phenomenal.
You went against the guy that was 16-1 and a good technical fighter. Dude, he hit him with that flying knee on that one. I could not believe that guy made it through that knee. That thing landed flush.
So when I posted that video of the flying knee, and people were talking about how Parubchenko just took it to the face, right? And right after he did that, De Jesus also, he threw it in the midair. He starts trying to like circle off in air so he doesn't get taken down off of the knee. I got to tell you, like I said, I've said this already, that these prelim fights, these guys were so good, so technical. Very rarely do they make mistakes. And when they did, they were able to work through it, get back to their feet, or they were able to take the shot and not make the mistake again later on. They did some really good stuff. I was like, man, where have all of you guys been hiding? You guys are really good.
Then the matchup they had between Piccolotti and Sidney Outlaw.
Oh, gosh.
You had talked about this is going to be like two ferrets,
Yeah.
just rolling. You were right, man. They had
So
some
good.
unbelievable scrambles and transitions in that fight. You want to see what true ground game action is, and when guys know what they're doing and they're going against another guy that knows what he's doing, and each guy's not going to give up, and they keep doing things till they finally get to where they want. They think they've got it, and all of a sudden it starts again.
Yeah.
That was a great fight. I did not think that the judge was right that gave it to Piccolotti.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty clear it was 2-1 for Sidney Outlaw, but really beautiful competition and a great fight between the two.
Yeah, I had Adam losing also, and I've trained with Adam for years. Adam was one of my main training partners for probably my last 4 or 5 fights. Yeah, he's phenomenal, man. I've known that kid since he was 15. He used to train with Raul Castillo. He trained with Joao Perini way back in the day with Raul Castillo. Joao Perini with Raul Castillo.
That's old.
When Joao went away, Raul took over and just started building him up, and then they were all worked together for years, man. For years they've been together. Raul's still in his corner, still his head coach, and they've been coming down to AK for the longest time. He's phenomenal. I talked to his coaches or whatever at the airport as well early in the morning, and he had hurt his knee in that first round exchange. Remember when Sidney Outlaw had pushed him backwards and he kind of caught his knee underneath him?
Yep.
He had hurt his knee, and he's like, he just wasn't the same after that. He wasn't able to scramble as much as he would have. He still had some phenomenal scrambles. He said that was a big reason why he wasn't able to hold the back positions every time he got it. He's like, he was putting pressure on his knee. He's like, it was hurting my knee every time. And so I understand. And that's the fight game, man. It sucks because he was doing this on a steady incline to the title. And then he had the 2 setbacks. He's had the 3 now, but he had the Yamauchi, lost to Rickles also. So Yamauchi, Rickles back to back. Then he won.
The Rickles fight, I think, was a big learning lesson for him.
Yeah, it was.
He took that and he took it at a weight that was way above what he is normally fighting at, because he wanted the fight, and Rickles was brought in last minute, but Rickles couldn't make weight.
Yeah.
Rickles is a big guy anyways. And so, you learn, hey, sometimes you got to say, okay, I'm not going to fight. Can't do it. And I think I want to say that they actually had a contracted weight at 165.
It was 165. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I told him, I said, you should have made it 160 or 162. You should have made him cut more.
Force him down.
They did the best they could, but then he had a really, really close fight with Benson Henderson and lost that one. I think that was a split decision also. Just one of those fights, man. Like Sidney Outlaw, and we knew, and I think he knew that Sidney, if he got on top and you need to make something happen. And I didn't get a chance to really talk. I didn't talk to him himself. I talked to 2 of his coaches, and I just said, like, that whole first round, he kind of gave away by sitting in the guard. It was just a mistake, huge mistake. But I don't know if that had something to do with the knee. Like, he just didn't feel comfortable, whatever it was.
Might have been exactly what it was, and that's why he did stay in the guard, because he heard it, and he's just like trying to let time go by.
Yeah, but you just got to give up that position if you're going to try to get the win somehow. Yeah. But, I mean, other than that, like that. So go back to the main card, please.
Then the next fight.
Well, there was a fight before that. There was the Weber Almeida and the Salim Mukhadinov.
Yeah.
That was
Salim Mukhadinov is a good fight. I talked about it before it happened. I said, look at, for a 135-pound fighter, and he's stepping up to 145 because that was not his normal weight class. Weber Almeida has got power in his hands.
Yes, he does.
He can knock people out. And it's rare to see a lighter weight fighter not get knockouts, but get one-punch knockouts. You'll see them get knockouts with volume or multitude of connecting shots that 1, 2, 3 puts the guy out, but not one. And Weber Almeida has shown one shot he can put a guy unconscious. Yeah. That's rare for a really lighter weight fighter. Man, he's got power in his hands, but that one shot that hit Salim right in the middle of the face.
Yeah.
Just stunned him, and then he hit him 2 solid shots when he was on the ground.
But what it is like the Machida group, they're really good at judging distance. Salim stepped in, was outreached, couldn't get to the shot that he wanted. He left himself out of position, and Weber just slid a little bit back and threw the straight right, landed clean on the face, dropped him right to his, basically like rocked him back a little bit, and then Salim tried to get back to all fours. It was over, man. He was taking some shots he didn't need to take. The fight was done. You know, and he's another one that I've trained with for a long time. You know, he's been at AK for a long time. He came actually from Mike Swick's gym over at AK Thailand. He came from there, and then now he's at AK here in San Jose. And
that was the first time I ever saw him fight, was in Thailand.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, he fought a dude that was way bigger than him, and I was like, man, this kid's tough.
Yeah.
But he lost the fight, but man, just a hell of a fight. And then I saw that he had Mike Swick in his corner, and I was like, okay.
No, he's a super nice guy too. The whole last week and a half, he was actually doing the training at my gym because AK was closed down in the afternoons. They have fighter training during the day, but then the rest of the time the gym was closed, so he came to my gym to do some work. But you know, super nice guy. I mean, I don't know if we're going to see him back in Bellator or not, but you know, I thought he won the fight with Chris Lencioni, and then
no doubt about it.
There's no doubt about that fight, but he lost apparently. I thought that maybe they messed up on the judging on the scorecards, like they gave the wrong card and whatever it was. That's how bad the decision was. But the Weber fight, he just left himself out of position long enough to get clipped.
Yep.
So that sucks. The Josh Hill fight.
Oh, it's a good fight, man. You talk about competitive. Eric Perez he's so tough.
Yeah.
I love that guy. But Josh Hill, you know, we talked about, he's a technician. He does everything well. You know, he's not flashy in any form at all. But man, you know, his transitions from his stand-up into just even sometimes showing that he's thinking about the takedown and hitting a knee tap and coming over with a right hand or any of those maneuvers. He transitions well.
Yeah. And
he can wrestle. He gets on top. He's got good ground and pound. You know, he just does things, the basics. He does the basics and he does them well. That's why he's a good fighter. He's 20-3.
Yeah. I honestly, when I did the research on him,
he's got 2 losses against who? Marlon Moraes.
Oh, it sucks.
He lost to Marlon twice in the World Series of Fighting.
Oh, it sucks. I mean, I did the research on him and I was like, he's okay. Yeah, I thought Eric Perez was gonna beat him. I was like, he's okay. Like, he doesn't do anything great. Like, he does a little bit. He does everything kind of just all right. Basic stuff. Yeah. Nothing spectacular.
He's good.
He's not overly aggressive. He just stays tight, and he doesn't exert energy when he doesn't need to.
But look at it. It's as simple as look at his basic position. Take a look at his chin.
Yeah.
And you know, I always used to talk about Pat Curran was the guy that I would say, you want to see a guy that knows how to freaking keep his chin? Go watch Pat Curran fight. And I'd say that to anyone because his chin was just glued to his chest, which makes him a hard person to put out of the fight. Josh Hill, same thing. Look at that chin, man. Down, everything's tight, hands are in the right position, doesn't overextend, doesn't make mistakes. Yeah. And when you got a guy that doesn't make mistakes, then you got to catch him in areas where it's just not easy to catch.
Yeah, I think for me, I've always felt this way. The chin's tucked and the hands got to stay on the chin. Okay. The guys that kind of keep their hands away. And I had a bad habit of doing that, of keeping my hands away. In the fights that I had a lot of success in, is I had a good defense. And with these guys, right, everything comes faster from the chin, just straight, boom, boom. And the guys that throw real wide are usually the ones that keep their hands away. And then it takes longer to get there. It shows a little bit more. Sometimes you can sneak one in, sometimes you can't. But the ones that are right here, you're a lot better defensively as well as just straight down the pipe, and it gets there faster. I was impressed with him, man. I was very impressed with him. I'm looking forward to seeing him fight again. I don't know what to do. Well, I don't know what we do with Eric Perez now. That's 2 losses in a row, and one was a highlight reel knockout by Toby Micic.
Toby Micic.
Yeah. So,
but this was a good fight.
It was.
This was a good fight for Eric. He was fighting and he was in it. He was just every little bit was just he was losing those exchanges most of the time
because he was swinging so hard. He was
swinging and swinging wild.
He was swinging wild. One time there was an exchange where he missed Josh Hill and actually hit the fence. I mean, I was like, you know.
But he's a fun fighter to watch. I really like him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he
like
is.
The guy, like the way he comes out, man. He puts it all out there. So
he is.
I hope they keep him. He's a good fighter.
Next fight.
What do you do? Who do you put him against?
Sorry,
well,
guys.
then we had the other one we had was Amazov against Lemminger.
Jeez.
24-0.
24-0.
Dude, he's good.
He just makes it look effortless.
Dude, he does, and he looks like he's bored.
Yeah.
He's just
bouncing around, just touching you, hitting you. Next thing you know, the guy's on the ground.
And hits you from all kinds of different angles. His shots, he'll throw a combination, and it's a 4-punch combination. Each punch is coming from a different angle, uppercut, hook, straight, overhand. You go, God damn, he's good. You're always guessing. He just keeps you off balance.
Yeah, if you go back and watch the broadcast when we were talking it over, I went back over the replays and I was saying, like, watch, he hits him with a straight right, then he hits him with a little right uppercut. So it goes right hand, right uppercut, little left hook, and then Lemminger like runs away, starts to run away, and he touches him again, another left hook, and then he goes down. It's like, oh shit, man, it's just nasty. And then he gets on top of him and just fucking beat his ass. It was like, dude, he was hitting him with, you heard the shots. Like,
this is what you're talking about. He gets on top of someone. He does not lose his mind.
Yeah.
He creates a space and he brings power. That's what damages you, man. He's got it going. That kid, we talk about, the new style of MMA fighter. And he's a guy that, he didn't start out wrestling. He didn't start out kickboxing. He didn't start out in Muay Thai. He didn't start out with jiu-jitsu. He started out learning MMA. He learned everything. And, man, you can see it because he transitioned from one skill to the next so well. And his wrestling, his wrestling nasty, dude.
Yeah, you guys got to go back and watch the fight with Ed Ruth. You got to watch his fight with Ed Ruth. He hip tosses he hip tossed him.
He hip tossed. He
took him down, won a couple of the scrambles where Ed took him down.
Uchimata on him, swung the leg up, flung him over, a variety of attacks.
Yeah.
And you just look and you go, God damn, that's against a 3-time NC2A champion, 136-3 record at Penn State.
Crazy.
And he tossed him multiple times in a fight.
Out scrambled him a couple times also. And I've wrestled with Ed Ruth, and he's got cat-like reflexes. Out scrambling him is like the thing that most people don't do. Yeah. Like you think you've got him down, and no, you don't. It's just getting started. Amosov was there at every bell. It was pretty impressive, man. I don't know why he was the main event on the prelims, and I want to.
We had talked about that.
But it's just
that's crazy. Well, we did complain.
Yeah.
How does a guy that's 24-0 going against a guy who is 11-1 at the time? How is that on a prelim?
He's so good, man.
People got to watch him. They got to see him because they got to. Once they see him, they'll know, dude. He's for real. As right now, I will tell you, Khabib is better. I'll give it to him. He's 28-0. Name me the next fighter that's got a better record than Amazov. And Amazov is fighting real people now.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's fighting bums. He's fought, guys from that have fought in the UFC that were good fighters. And
Scroll
stuff.
up.
He's the real deal.
Record. So he's beat Eric Silva. He's beat Dave Rickles. He's beat Ed Ruth. He's beat Nathan Oliveira, Gerald Harris, Diego Cavalcante. He's beat who else? I don't know the Russian guys that he's beat because he came in all the Russians. So they're all tough. So I don't even want to get into that. I didn't want to get into that.
That's it.
Yeah, all the Russian guys that he fought and he beat before he came over to Bellator. They were all tough. Yeah, I mean he's so good. I just don't know who we have him fight next outside of like. He's already beat Ed. I mean, I could see him maybe fighting John Fitch, maybe fighting Neiman Gracie.
Stop. Let's be honest. Yaroslav signed a contract to fight John Fitch because John Fitch said yes, and then John Fitch said nope. John's not dumb.
Yeah.
Okay. I like John, and I'm going to give him credit. He's a smart guy. He watched this and fuck that. I ain't fighting that.
I ain't fighting that guy. Yeah, I mean Neiman Gracie maybe. To me, honestly, the fight Jason Jackson.
Oh yeah, I think that's a great fight.
You
talk about a guy that's fighting right now, fighting really well. Jason Jackson, man, he's He has just stepped it up. He leaps and bounds better from 1 year to the next. He's looking great. He's in shape. He put on a performance against Jordan Meehan, and Jordan's good. And Jordan was tight, looking good the way Jason Jackson just beat him up after a while. Knocked him down, beat him up. Jason is looking phenomenal right now. So, if you're looking at a guy who you could say, all right, let's see this fight. I could see Amosov against Jason Jackson. That would be a huge feather in the cap if Jason beat him, because he would be taking away that O. And that would put Jason in a position. You're looking, at 24-0, Douglas Lima's the champ.
But he's tied up right now for the Gegard thing because they're trying to get that together. I think that's coming up here shortly, to be honest.
Well, you got other guys too. You've got guys like, put him against a veteran. Paul Daly's the guy. Put him against MVP. Let's see. MVP's only got one loss. Yeah. Let's see. Come on, tell me you wouldn't want to see that fight.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess.
I would.
Well, he would.
In a heartbeat.
Yeah. You would?
Oh,
I'd like to maybe see the Daly fight more so than the MVP fight.
See, I think Amosov uses that the wrestling that he has, takes Paul off of his feet.
I think he takes MVP off of his feet easier.
If he's
Paul
smart,
Daly took MVP down. Do you think Amosov's not going to take him down?
I didn't say he wasn't going to take him down, but there's a difference in the power factor that you're looking at. MVP he's a problem with the way he fights. He's got power in what he does, but he's a problem with the style of fight that he brings. Paul is a classic style, and so is Amosov as far as the way he goes about stuff. Where Paul becomes the problem is you go, oh shit, this dude can swat. This guy's got a left hook from hell. Yeah. So I'm going to take him away from being able to use that and take him off his feet. So they just present different problems. But either guy, in a fight, I would love to see that. That would be great.
He's so fucking good. I mean, nothing against either one of those guys, but I think Amosov's just on another level. I mean, I really believe outside of Douglas Lima, I don't think we have a guy on the roster that can touch him.
Yeah, you might be right.
I mean, MVP poses a threat because of the way he fights. He's going to do that to no matter who you put him in there with. He's going to pose a threat. That's going to be a threat to anybody. But once he gets taken down, it won't last long.
No,
it won't last long.
Amosov on the ground is good.
He's so fucking good.
He's good.
I mean, look what he did to Lemminger. Like when they hit the ground, it was done. Like he just was putting some nasty ground and pound on him, and Lemminger was trying to get back up, and he was just pushing him back down like nobody's.
And he's got submissions, man. He's got good submissions. So
interesting. Yeah, he's. I think he's the future. What is he? He's only 26. What a baby! What a baby! This guy's. Jeez, man.
I was just saying he has second in MMA for undefeated record.
Yeah, it's him and could be
because I think you got what AJ McKee is undefeated.
There's your list there.
Here you go. Look at you. God damn, you're good there.
Doing something.
Podcast Dave, look at you. You are a man on a mission.
What's this guy here? He's
Israel Adesanya at 19-0.
Why hasn't anyone signed this kid at bantamweight?
Check out underneath AJ McKee. The name of Phillip Miller. No one remembers Phillip Miller. Walked away from the UFC at 16-0 and became an LA police officer. I put him through the academy.
Wow. Phillip Miller.
Phillip Miller, man, was a wrestler out of, I want to say Brigham Young. Tough dude, fought in the early UFCs, was in remember the guy named Mark Weir from England?
Yeah, I do remember Mark Weir.
Yeah. Phillip was a good guy, man.
Okay, he doesn't look familiar though. I do remember the name Phillip Miller, but he doesn't look familiar.
Walked away at 16-0, man.
Wow.
Walked away from fighting.
It's probably better. He's got a fucking 401k.
I think he got at the time, he beat Mark Weir in the UFC. Then he beat I want to say James Zizik or something like that.
Yeah,
from England.
Yep.
And his last fight, I can't remember who his last fight was.
It's
Marcio Oliveira.
Okay.
Who can shoot?
Yeah, but the UFC offered him Phil Baroni and wanted to pay him, I think, like $2,000 and $2,000. He says, "I'm out. I'm done."
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Was that not common for 2003 though? Was that not like
that amount of pay?
Yeah, that was common. That's,
Yeah. Back then, yeah.
yeah.
was-
But I mean, some guys were getting paid 25 grand though. You know, some were getting paid upwards of like 50. I don't know what ranking those guys. They were champions though too. But I mean, 2-2, 4-4, 6-6, or 8-8 was just not the business, bro.
8-8 was a good payday.
Like for me when I fought Eves, it was 8-8. So it was 2-2, 4-4, 8-8. But I had already had the 2 fights, and I was the number 1 guy in the world at the time. So you're fighting
number 1 guy in the world
at
for
lightweight for $8,000. Yep, shitty. Yep. And then I'm
gonna be rich.
Then I went to Pride. I made 15 grand flat fee, win or lose, in a cash in a brown paper bag in the lobby. Fucking just all $100 bills, American money, by the way. Just brought it home and cashed it in. Cha-ching! I was like, that was more than I made in all of my fights in the UFC.
You told the IRS about that, right?
Of course I did.
That's what I just wanted to hear.
Everybody knows a guy.
You did.
Yes.
I know you told them.
Okay, so then after Amosov, then we go into the main card.
Yeah. Well, then we talk about Joe Soliski's coach in John Salter. I talked to John. John, in fighting Andrew Capel, he got position every round.
Yeah.
And was setting up the arm triangle. And I asked him afterwards, I said, you got to tell me, man, what were you feeling? Because John would not come off to the side. There was one time he could come off the side, but the cage was in his way. So I understood why he did not. But he did not come off to the side to make the choke tighter. And he was trying to get the choke from the mount, which is possible. It's just not common because it's hard to get the pressure. And I asked him, I said, what were you feeling? He says, man, he was slippery. And I was afraid I was going to lose the choke. And every time I started to see, so instead, when he was trying to bury his shoulder and he's getting it and he's trying to, you know how guys will take when they bring their hands?
Yeah.
But he was trying to bring his hands and then squeeze his elbows underneath him to create the pressure. He says, I figured that would be my way of being able to create the pressure. And finally, that's what he did to get the tap when he got it with him. But he goes, he was tough. He goes, he was really slippery. Every time he started to move, I started to lose, my hold on him. So, but, he got another submission win. You got to figure Salter now has the 1 loss against Lovato.
Yeah.
And I think only one other fight in all of his fights. And he's like 8-1.
He's 18-4 overall.
18-4 overall, 8-1 in Bellator. He's got the 1 losses to
Reggie
Lovato.
Pena. He lost to Reggie Pena in XFC or something like a long time ago.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. But his fights in Bellator, every one of them has been a submission except for one.
Yeah.
Every fight.
Here's
So
the
that's pretty
problem,
good.
John. Here's the problem.
Talk to me.
You got to finish guys. And I know he finished him, but it took him a while. And here's the process.
And that's what we were talking about.
And I get the process of it all because I understand wearing them down, but you got to at least look like you're trying to do some damage. There was moments there where there was nothing going on. You're in mount. You gotta punch them a little bit to like loosen them up. You got to do something. Like otherwise, it's hard. I hear it was a dominant performance. There was never a moment where he was in trouble. But I can't give you a title shot off that. I can't even.
Nope.
I have to fight somebody else, and which means you got to fight another top guy or a tough opponent, which is going to be even harder to get it to make you look good. What are we gonna do with you? Like, and you're 35 years old. What are you gonna do? What are we gonna do with you? You're in that. Is he 35? Yeah, he is 35. Like, what are we like? What do you? We're just spinning our wheels. You got to open up a little bit more. I'm kind of in that thing where the UFC was with John Fitch. Like,
Yeah.
You're good. There's no doubt you're good.
Oh, he's good.
But we got to
His
figure
ground, look, his ground game in MMA is fantastic.
Yeah.
He's a ground specialist where everyone knows what he wants to do and they can't stop it.
Yeah.
That's a problem. That's the Khabib.
Yeah, he's got good wrestling.
formula.
He's got that good wrestling mixed in. But see, Khabib does damage on the floor.
Where Khabib uses what's called striking on the ground a lot.
Yeah, he does damage on
To
the ground.
open
That's
you
what
up.
I'm saying.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Salter doesn't do that. He needs to open up his game a little bit more.
Yep.
So,
I agree.
Next fight.
But he's good. Next fight that we had.
Roy
That was a
Nelson.
good fight.
Roy Nelson.
Well, it's a good fight in the fact that, Roy tried. I give him credit. he's in against the guy that is
28 years old.
as we talk about, young, lighter, faster, way faster. And Moldavsky he was out wrestling Roy, putting Roy against the cage, making Roy have to try to fight his way out, taking away Roy's right hand so that Roy wasn't able to land the big shot. So,
yeah,
take a look, man. Roy came to Bellator. Take a look at that win-loss.
I know.
That's not looking real good, man.
And he was losing the Javi Allo fight too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Till he finally took Javi off of his feet.
Yeah.
Went back to wrestling. Roy's had a hard run. And
I mean,
wins aren't coming.
Yeah, realistically, I don't even know. Like, if they keep him, if they do, I think he's got one more fight left on his contract.
I think he's got one more fight, and he was saying that they were going to put him and Matt Mitrione back together since they both have faced each other before twice now. It'd be the trilogy match.
Is it 1-1 or is it one?
It's 1-1.
It's 1-1.
And since Roy and Matt do not like each other, we'll see if that happens.
All right. Well, I mean, it's one of those like, hey, like loser goes home.
Maybe.
You would think, you would think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like both of them. They're both nice guys, but when it comes to fight stuff and the fight promotion, you got to start thinking in terms of, okay, what are we doing here? Roy being 44 and Matt Mitrione being what? 40?
42.
42. So, I mean, it makes sense to put the two of them together, but
41,
it also
42.
Yeah. You got to start thinking in terms of, okay, what are we going to do?
Yep.
Next fight. Julia Budd and Jesse, you say her last name.
Mealy.
I don't know. I'm going to say my L. But Mealy. Jesse Mealy, Julia Budd.
It was not the performance I believe Julia needed.
No, not at all.
No. Julia is physically, man, she's so dominating as far as her strength. Not the fastest as far as, fighters or anything like that, but she's got good snap on her punches at times. Physically dominating when she takes people to the ground, but she, for whatever reason, lacks confidence, in my opinion.
Yep.
There's a confidence issue that it's like she just doesn't believe that she can go out there and dominate this person. She just doesn't believe that, I can get rid of this person. So I want to play it safe instead of let me just push on this just a little bit more and just force you over the edge.
Yeah.
She doesn't do that. She plays it safe. And that to me shows a lack of confidence in your ability.
Yeah.
She shouldn't have it.
No, she shouldn't have it at all. She needs to throw more. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to compare her a little bit to Frankie Edgar. And I know that they're nothing alike. But I'm just simply saying that there's a little comparison there. No. Is that she throws one, maybe two. If she did what Frankie Edgar does,
okay. That's
the
not
way she moves,
that's showing a disparity between the two.
Like if she did what because the way she could fight is the way that Frankie fights.
Yes.
Because I can see that. And I can see like they don't have similar styles, but she could
she doesn't have to have the movement of Frankie, but she has to have, when you go, you throw in multitudes, you throw in combinations. Don't give me that one. Yeah. Don't give me that 1, 2 every now and then. I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3.
And get out.
Yes. Use your footwork to get yourself back out.
I don't, because every time she threw first, every time she was throwing, she was landing, having success. She just didn't throw enough.
And damn it, frickin' kick behind those hands.
Yeah.
Hide your kicks behind. You've got good kicks. Why are you never using them?
Yeah. I don't know, but I was asking the same thing about Frankie tonight. He was punch, but not a whole lot of kicks. He used to kick a lot more when he was younger.
At least he did a couple of nice spinning back kicks.
Yes, he did.
He did.
Yeah.
I was very impressed. I go, way to go, Frankie. There you go.
Yeah, I would get like fucking, what do they call that when you get dizzy? You get me spinning around like that.
You get motion sickness just on your spin.
I showed up to the airport in Hartford. They fucking brought the car that picked us up was a fucking limo. I got sick in the back of the car. I never have gotten sick before. I was like looking at my phone. All of a sudden I was like, oh shit, I'm feeling weird. Oh, I don't feel good. What the fuck's going on? I'm like, I'm getting car sick. I've never been car sick ever in my life. When I was younger, I used to love riding in limos. Now I'm like, God, next time just bring me a sedan. I'm good, man.
Give me the little card.
whatever. Yeah, I don't know. It was horrible. It was horrible. I'm like, I told our guy that books our cars for us. I was like, yeah, never again, dude. Don't give me a limo.
Never again.
Anyways, look, you know what? For me, I personally felt like the prelims just did so much.
They shined.
They shine. So if you guys get a chance, Pluto TV has the whole card on there. Check out all the prelims. You guys can also go to the Zone. The Zone will also have them on there as well. The prelims. You guys got to go check them out, man.
Other than the main event, the prelims outshined all the main card fights.
The main card fights.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not talking about a little bit. I'm talking about a lot.
Oh yeah.
Every fight on the prelims was so fun to watch. And if you guys know what you're looking at, you're like, holy shit. Like you were talking about, what's it called? Chris Gonzalez, sorry. Chris Gonzalez and Tokov.
Yeah, Vladimir Tokov.
We were commentating and I said, I would like to explain to you what they did, but they did like 6 or 7 moves and like all within like 10 seconds. It was so impressive.
All Josh would say is, good God.
I was like, good heavens, man. This is crazy. And just the wrestling pedigree on both guys, the technique on both guys. Sure, they got takedowns, but the other guy just popped right back up. And it was like the way they were defending. Like, I remember back when Matt Hughes fought George St. Pierre the second time, and Matt hit a double leg on him and worked his way up to a body lock. In mid-air, GSP switches from defending the double on one side, in the air, switches the whizzer on the other side, stuffs the takedown. And I just remember the crowd going fucking crazy.
I was the one in the ring. And I went, how the fuck did you do
No
that?
idea how he did it. I was like, oh my God, did you see that?
I was like, oh my God, I can't.
That changed that changed, I think, how Matt approached the fight after that. He's like, God, what do I got to do to get this kid down? Crazy, man. And that's exactly what we saw in that Tokov fight with Gonzalez.
Yep.
Great stuff, man. Great stuff. So if you guys go back.
So let's talk about the light heavyweight championship fight. Ryan Bader against Vadim Nemkov. Man, you know, we talked about it beforehand, and we talked about the differences of the two. And one of the things that we both agreed on was Bader fights good coming forward. So if you want to beat him, make him go back, make him back up. He's the bully that you want to make sure that is not bullying you. And that's exactly what Nemkov did from the start. And the big difference that both you and I think we agreed on, we thought that Bader should vacate the light heavyweight title and just stay at heavyweight because he's the faster guy at heavyweight right now. More athletic. And in coming down, what is the weight cut going to do? It's not like he gained weight to be the heavyweight. He just didn't cut weight. So he was smart in the way that he went about being the heavyweight. But when you cut weight, you know, it does take something from your performance, you know, no matter what. And second off, you're fighting guys that are faster. Now this guy has your speed or is even faster. And we say it all the time, speed kills. And man, Vadim Nemkov was faster than Bader.
Well, the difference to me, I agree with you. The difference, the weight cut didn't seem like it was a factor. What was a factor though was that Ryan Bader is used to being faster when he throws his big overhand right or his big left hook, and he's getting there before the heavyweights are able to block it, or, you know, he hits them and then they stay stationary just trying to cover up because Bader is faster. Then he can get in on the double leg or the takedown, and that's what he can do at the heavyweight division. Well, that didn't work against Nemkov because Nemkov is also longer. So Nemkov throwing the jab, staying long and touching him at the end, making Bader fight going backwards. And I asked him in the fighter meetings, I said, have you noticed in the early part of Bader's career is that when he was being bullied by guys like Anthony Johnson or John Jones, he tends to sometimes fold and crawl back into his, into this space.
Anytime he's going backwards, he's not being offensive.
No. And that's when he's being the bully, he's winning. When he's not, he's losing.
He's losing.
And Nemkov goes, when I asked him that question, he said, that's exactly what we looked into. He's like, we noticed that. And that's the one thing we're going to try to do is just try and push him around. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, I think maybe you have a chance. And he fought so long with his punches that Bader wasn't able to, Bader was jumping in with the big punches and they weren't getting there because Nemkov was fighting so long. And Nemkov has the speed to get out of the way, unlike the heavyweights. Yep. And the takedown attempt, sure, Bader got one, but he wasn't able. And the activity of the light heavyweight of Nemkov being on the bottom, the shifting the hips, the moving the hips, attacking the armbar, trying to attack the triangle, all those things. Bader, when he finally, there was a scramble where Bader could have jumped back on top of him. He made a huge mistake in not going back in. He's like, you know what? Just get back up. Huge mistake. I think that to me is what cost him the fight. He backed out, and when he backed out, it just let Nemkov get back to his feet. Or that was in the first round, sorry. But it was like he could have kept.
But still,
he could have did some more damage.
It was a telling sign in the fight when you had him in a position that you need to have him in for you to win this fight. This is your chance to wear him down, slow him down, beat him up, and damage him. And you're not doing it. You're allowing him to just get back up to where he actually has an advantage over you.
Yeah.
Said everything.
Yeah. Once he backed out, he let him up. I think Nemkov was like, all right, now this is exactly where I want to be. And I put enough into him that maybe he thinks he's confident in letting me up, but it wasn't very evident from where I was sitting. It didn't look evident that he had confidence because he was winging punches from so far away that it wasn't even getting close. Yep. And Nemkov was just touching him a little bit here and there. And I think the biggest mistake, which led to the head kick, was every time Bader was backing up. First, he was backing up. That was one. Two was when he was backing up, his feet wasn't moving with him. So his upper body was leaning back, but his feet weren't catching up. And when that happens,
and he was going straight back. When that's happening, you're off balance already. Anything that touches you, you're going to pretty much fall. And it showed throughout the fight as Nemkov pushed him around. He was running into the fence. He was getting his feet caught up in the fence. His body was hitting. He had no control of where he was going. And then the head kick came. And man, after that, the fight could have potentially, I know, and look, I read the comments already. I read all the comments in some of the sections when I posted it, when Bellator posted it about the ref. I thought the ref did a wonderful job. He did.
There could have been moments where it could have been stopped in certain times, but you guys got to go back and watch it, and you got to watch it in live action. As soon as the ref was about to jump in, Bader started to get up, or Bader started to turn and to do something. You got to let the champion continue to fight. We're talking about Ryan Bader. We're not talking about the guy on the prelim of the prelims. Okay, he's not on the undercard of the undercard, getting smashed. You're talking about a world champion, and he's going against someone who's also a really talented, very good fighter, but also very young, and so you don't know if he's going to do a Dwight Grant and punch himself out. Is he going to punch himself out trying to get the finish and end up, these are the situations you've got to let this guy get into. And so Ryan Bader, when he got up and started kind of making space, we've seen Overeem, turn his back and run. We've seen Conor McGregor turn his back and run.
Absolutely.
To gain space to potentially get back to a fighting position, because you're in a scramble. You're in this situation where there's a lot going on. The fence is here, the fighter's here, the ref's right there, and normally people are yelling and screaming, but no one was, no one's yelling and screaming, but you can hear the commentators saying, "Get up, you dummy, get up." You know what I mean? So when it gets into that, there's so much going on, and the ref, I thought, did a good job of letting them fight on. Sure, he took some shots, but if you go back and watch, there's times where he had taken, right when he was taking the big shots, Bader started to move. Bader did put his hand up. Bader started to kind of get back to his feet.
Got up 3 times, Josh.
Yeah.
3 times.
Yeah.
So what does that say?
He was still in it.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to make this as clear as I can, because there's all kinds of people saying stuff about this. And, I've said it too many times, but I'll say it again. You cannot ref all fights the same.
You want to say it one more time?
Sure. You cannot ref all fights the same. They are different. And you'll hear people go, "Whoa, that's just wrong." No, you're wrong, because you're sitting on your fucking couch and you don't have any of the responsibility of what that guy standing in the cage has. And that guy's smart enough to know there's a difference between what you allow a 2-0, 1-1, 2-2, 3-0 fighter against another one that's got a record like that. There's a difference in what you let them swim into. As I say, the depth of the water is a lot shallower. Your decision to pull them out will come a lot quicker than it will for the fighter that is the champion or the challenger in a championship fight. You don't just do it for the champ, you're doing it for both. Because the difference is this. When you take a look at the preliminary fights, those are all match fights. If it's in the UFC, it's Mick Maynard and Sean Shelby are matching those fights up. Okay? It's not that those guys, know something about each other or hate each other or, have heat. It's just a matched fight. Okay? All right. There's a difference when you look at a Ryan Bader who has earned the position of being a world champion. He did that through his work and his effort and performing at a high level. He attains being the champion. Nemkov works his way into beating world champions, guys that were world champions.
Three of them
right in a row to get the shot at that title. It's not that it's just given to him. He's worked his way into that position. So right there, you have a different dynamic. These guys have earned the right to be in this fight. So when you have this fight, there's certain things that happen that one of the best things that you have right now is that Kerry Hatley let that fight go on. And he let it go on to where there's no controversy.
Yeah.
It was conclusive. Okay? Vadim Nemkov beat Ryan Bader. No doubt about it. But if Kerry Hatley had stopped the fight when Ryan went down, first off, if you watch the way Ryan goes down when he gets kicked to the head, I'll give him credit because he was still there. His hands go back. All the people saying he was knocked out. No, he wasn't. You're wrong. Just telling you right now. Okay? Seeing too many people knocked out. His hands go back to actually brace his fall at a certain point. That's telling you his brain is connected. Nemkov comes after him. At no point does Ryan Bader go out. If Ryan Bader went out, just like Dwight Grant went out, that's why Chris Tognoni tonight stopped the fight. He went out for that much, and Chris came in and stopped the fight when he didn't stop it for his opponent in Rodriguez because he never went out. Well, Bader never went out, and Bader is trying. It's not that he is not getting hit. Kerry Hatley knows he's taking big shots, but he's trying to move himself into a better position, trying to at times take away Nemkov's ability to hit him. He's even cheating. I even said on the broadcast, he grabbed the glove by the wrist, okay? And I said, I don't blame him, okay? Because I don't. He's trying. And you've got to let him work through that situation because if Kerry had stopped it, what would you have had? You would have had Nemkov being the champion. You would have had nothing but controversy. You would have had people saying, oh, Bader was getting up. I can't believe you stopped it. Early stoppage. You would have just created controversy where there's no controversy now. It was conclusive.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great job by Kerry Hatley. And it's a tough job. And he's got all kinds of people, wanting his head because, oh, my God, you let that go. He was absolutely right in letting it go. He let Ryan Bader swim into deep waters, okay? And Ryan Bader was at a certain point dog paddling. And eventually the water went over his head and Kerry Hatley pulled him out, all right? That was a good job by Kerry Hatley.
Yeah, we had talked to him right after the fight. We were walking to go get some food, and he just so happened to be standing there. We talked to him for about a good 20 minutes about what he thought. He's like, look, there was like 2 times in those exchanges, I was about to jump in, and then Bader covered his head, and then he moved. And then he's like, in the second one, he's like, I almost like was all the way in. He's like, and then Bader put his leg up and got up. He's like, shit, I can't stop this right now. And you got to remember with refs, it really is a split second. You jump in or you don't. Because if you touch that fighter, you fucked up.
It's not only a split second, it's final. When you fucking make that call, there's no fucking taking it away.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And so you've got to be sure. It's easy on the outside. I even said in the broadcast when Bader went down and the way he went down, this fight's going to be over. I didn't say stop it because I didn't mean stop it. I just knew with the kick that landed on him, the way it landed and the way he's going down, he's not going to survive this. But I thought Kerry Hatley did a fantastic job in letting that fight go and making it to where there's no controversy. The only controversy you're going to have is people who are not happy that he didn't stop it. The other part is this, and I know it doesn't sound nice, but it's just the fucking truth. Fighters get paid to get damaged. That's what they're getting paid for. That's why it's prize fighting. All right. Now we don't want them to get damaged, and they don't want to get damaged, but that's part of the price of being the prize fighter is you're going to get damaged, and you cannot keep a fighter from being damaged in certain situations. They're still fighting, and they have the ability to go on, and you've got to let them go on, and they take shots, and they might receive more damage. What we try to do is not let them receive what we call unnecessary damage.
Yeah.
If a guy goes out and we allow the guy to hit him to see if he can knock him back into consciousness, because it can happen, that's unnecessary damage. You don't do that. You stop the fight. When a guy is in Bader's position and he's trying to work his way out, once he turns, and I talked to Kerry about this, once he turns and he starts running, you got to take a look at why is he running. When Conor is running, sometimes it's just to gain space. He hasn't been hurt, but he needs to gain space. Even with Overeem, he has run when he's been hurt, but he's also run when he's not.
Yep.
And it's to gain space. Ryan is trying to gain space, but he's still hurt. And it's always the shots that you don't see that really hurt you. And when you're running away and you really can't see that fighter coming up and what he's going to land on you, the fighter is in a precarious position because he can be put out with that one shot. But once he runs and then he got put down again, that was the time to stop the fight. And that's just about the time that Kerry did it. So
yeah,
I have no problems with it. I thought it was a good job. I thought it was an incredible performance by Nemkov. And man, I'll tell you what, that's a tough dude to beat. It's going to be fun seeing, we've got a whole slew of good light heavyweights. Corey Anderson just coming in. I'm sure Corey was very interested in what he saw in that fight.
Wow.
I'm sure he's going to take a look and start breaking down what he thinks he can take advantage of, with what Nemkov was doing. But there's good fights to be made from this. And it actually opens up the division. Nothing against Ryan Bader, but he's the 2-division champ. He's still the heavyweight. He's, Scott Coker's not going to let him stay at light heavyweight.
No.
He's got to go to heavyweight now. He's got a title to defend. And now there's a new light heavyweight champion. So Ryan's going to make his way back up to heavyweight, and we'll see what Nemkov can do from here.
Yeah, it makes no sense for him to stay at light heavyweight. I mean, I feel like he's had better performances at heavyweight anyways. He's dominated everyone he's competed against there. He dominated the guys also, too, in the 205-pound division, but he's been out of there for years. I mean, he hasn't defended the 205-pound title in years. So what's the point of even trying to go back and forth? Also, he's 37 years old.
Yep.
You all have more. You're already more athletic than all the other heavyweights. Maybe you'll have a struggle, I think, with Moldavsky and Minakov.
Moldavsky and Minakov
Those are the two guys that are going to be your problems. Minakov only because he's fucking a mountain of a man. He's like 6'5", 6'6".
He's big. He can wrestle. He's one of the two guys, being Moldavsky. Yeah. Czech Congo can wrestle to a point, but Bader proved that he can't wrestle with.
But then people are going to go back. If you guys look at Czech and Czech beat Minakov, I want you guys to understand, Minakov actually got staffed that week and was on antibiotics. So he wasn't, if you watch that fight, he never gets tired. And in that fight, he was gassed out. So that whole first round, he was done. And the whole fight probably one of the most boringest fights I've seen. Because they were just standing there. It was like a Derek Lewis and Ngannou fight all over again. So, excuse me. But it was just one of those fights. And you have those fights, but one person had staph and was on antibiotics, and it showed. And since then, he's been tearing things up. But then I think also, too, he'll give Brian Bader a run for his money and athleticism. And if that doesn't happen, you have Moldavsky that's there as well in heavyweight division. And he's another guy that just fought this last game and just put it on Roy. It was just pushing the pace, press, and they're kind of similarly built, And so Brian, I think, has got the better wrestling, but it's a different style of wrestling. Yeah. He's got that blast double, and he's good on top if he can hold you down. But I don't know, with Moldavsky being a heavyweight, heavyweights don't move as well as someone like Nemkov from the bottom. Nemkov was so active with his guard, swiveling his hips, getting his legs up high, was attacking the arm, trying to push the triangle. I was like, wow, this guy's phenomenal.
His shoulder blades never hit the mat.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive.
Always one side up, trying to do things. So he was very aggressive off the ground. He looked great. Yeah,
and everyone's gonna sit here and say like, hey, Brian Bader was talking about being the best light heavyweight. Look, man, this is the fight game. I wasn't ready to crown that whole thing yet. I mean, I understand where people are coming from because John Jones just left the division. Anthony Johnson's not back. Sure, you got what's his name, Reyes. Why do I want to keep
Dominic?
Dominic
Reyes.
Derek.
Got it.
All right, we can call him Derek. So you have Dom Reyes, and you've got I also like who's the other guy? The one that Santos. I like him a lot. He's good, and then and Blachowicz, you got him as well. He's good as well. I mean, like they're both fighting for the title in the UFC. But I mean, right now I got to tell you, with that type of performance by Nemkov, I put him right up there in that mix. I mean, once you get,
he can fight with any of
those guys. So I'm not I'm not saying he's gonna beat him. What I'm saying though is that I will put him in there with any of those guys. Now, if you want to talk about John Jones, then that's a different story. John Jones, I think
totally.
Nobody wants to fight John Jones. That's why John Jones is fucking going to heavyweight.
Stand by for the heavyweights. So no one there's going to want to fight him either.
Nobody. And Francis, just so everyone knows, Francis Ngannou put out a tweet or a message or whatever saying the other day, and I read the clip on some website, which I'm not going to give any credit to because I don't know him. Anyways, is basically was that nobody wants to fight John Jones, not in the heavyweight division. He's a better wrestler than all of them. He's more athletic than all of them. He's like, there's no one for him to fight. There's Francis.
Creates the problem.
There's Francis. That's it. And I don't know if Francis can stop his takedowns. I think John Jones will be the heavyweight champ probably by the middle of next year.
Could be.
Summertime. I think summertime next year he'll be. It depends on how active he wants to be. And I think the biggest reason why he vacated that title was like, look, I'm fighting these guys. Now they're all kind of getting to be my size. They're all athletic. I've dominated this division. I've wiped it all out. Let me go somewhere else and see what I can do in this division. He's also getting older. And like I just said with Ryan Bader, when you're getting older, go to the heavier weight classes where you're more athletic than them. Yeah. Okay? And John, he's fucking
quit trying to go to the lighter
frame.
Ones.
He's got a huge body frame. Outside of Frankie tonight. But you know what I mean? But Frankie was never a big guy. That was the thing. Frankie's really just fighting in his natural weight class now. That's all he's doing. You know, I mean, sadly, he's doing it at an older age.
There wasn't a 135-pound weight class in the UFC when he was fighting.
That's funny, though. That's hilarious. I didn't even think about that. What else?
Well, while you're on, can you hear me? Yeah. While you're on light heavyweights, Scott Coker had made a claim earlier in the week that he's a better light heavyweight division, and then Dana. I've got the audio if you want to hear Dana's response to that tonight. Want me to play?
Sure. Yeah. Let's hear it.
Well, sure. Of course.
Let's hear what Dana White has to say.
Come on, Uncle Dana. What do you got to say, baby?
Guys, everybody they have in their light heavyweight division, we let go of. He's got the best light heavyweight division. We let those guys all go. It's like the fucking dumbest thing I've ever heard. I get it. He's got to try to.
I get it too.
His thing, you know what I mean? I'm not shitting on him. He's got to try to do his thing. He's got to try to sell fights, and the way you don't sell fights is like, oh, I got the best light heavyweight division in the world. I mean, everybody that was there was let go from here. It's a pretty silly statement, guys. Well,
I mean, I don't know how to put it. I mean, I know
how to put it.
You go right ahead. I'll follow up on what you're gonna say.
Well, let's go down the list because there are many guys that fought in the UFC in the light heavyweight division that now are with Bellator. So that's a true statement on Dana's part. But Phil Davis was not let go by the UFC.
Yeah, he left. Yeah.
Okay, he left the UFC because
for more
he got
money.
Paid a lot more money, and that's called business. And it wasn't the UFC wanted to let Phil go. They couldn't match the offer that was given to Phil. They didn't feel it was reasonable to match it. That was a business decision on their part. And so Phil went. Same thing with Ryan Bader. Ryan Bader left. He did not get cut by the UFC.
Yeah.
He left. Lyoto Machida. I'll give you the true story of Lyoto Machida. All right? Because it says a lot about Lyoto. Lyoto Machida was, I'm not gonna give you numbers, but I will tell you that Lyoto Machida was on the last fight of his contract. And his manager calls and starts talking to people about, what Lyoto's going to want. And I know that someone at Bellator said, hey, when he's out of his contract, call us, we'll talk. And so does the last fight on his contract, gets past his little negotiating. There's a time period that can only negotiate with the UFC. Gets past that. They call, and the person at Bellator basically says, what does he want? They go, this is the number he wants. He goes, okay, that's the number he wants. So what I want is this. If I give him that number, and I say okay to it, then right now he's going to say, I will sign with you. There is no more going back or anything like that. I'll give you that number if you tell me, yes, you're signing with me. Lyoto Machida tells him, yeah, I would sign with you. Okay, you've got that number. And so he gets that number. And the UFC hears and offers him quite a bit more to stay. And Lyoto says, no, I gave him my word, and I'm gonna go on.
Wow.
And so he leaves. Yeah. Kind of says something about Lyoto Machida, doesn't it?
Or it says something about your former boss.
Could have gotten more money.
Yeah.
Just saying, yeah, I'm going to stay with the UFC, but the UFC wanted to keep him. So they didn't get rid of Lyoto. Okay. He decided to leave, and that was his decision. And now you can sit there and say anything you want about those guys, but you didn't get rid of any of them. The only one you can say you released is Corey Anderson, who asked for his release because he's been under your Ultimate Fighter contract. He won the Ultimate Fighter, when he was whatever season it was that he fought in it. And that's a horrible contract. It's a horrible contract. I know everyone sits here and because Dana comes out and he goes 6-figure contract. Yeah. 6 figures for how many fights? Okay. Because they're starting off at 12. Yeah. 12 and 12, and they get 14 and 14 and 16 and 16. And you're doing a lot of fights to get to that $100,000 mark.
And you're fighting top guys in that division. There's not a lot of top guys. So you go right from fighting guys that are like 4-2 or 6-2. All of a sudden now you're fighting guys that are fucking 11-1. And it's like, cause there's no other guys.
Yeah. And so what you're doing in the end, when you're Corey Anderson, you're going and you're fighting guys that they're making double or 3 times the amount of money you're making because you're still under this contract because you won this Ultimate Fighter thing. And that's just, after a while you go, it's no different than if you are a chef in a restaurant or you are a person that's a mechanic or a plumber. You're working, and the guy that you're working next to is making 3 times the amount of money to do the same job.
Yeah.
You're going to go and talk to someone about it. And that's what happened. And, he asked for his release and they gave it to him, and Bellator picked him up right away. That makes Bellator smart. And it's, the UFC can, they can get rid of anybody they want. That's okay. It's their choice.
I am surprised.
Because they're getting rid of somebody doesn't mean that they're not a great fighter.
Yeah. Here's the thing is and you guys can, I don't even want to get into like the conversation between Coker and Dana, and that. I don't give a shit. Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, because here's the thing. Dana had already gotten rid of some guys that were in Strikeforce, and guess what? Those guys ended up becoming UFC champions after Strikeforce had picked them up, built their career back up, and they went over to the UFC and became champions then. Okay. They cut Robbie Lawler. They cut Nick Diaz. They cut these guys, These are all guys that ended up being, pretty big names in the UFC again after years of fighting in Strikeforce. Look, people, when they weren't let go, but I'm talking about the Robbie Lawlers, they were let go, and they came back around, built their career back up, and became stars and became UFC champions again, became Strikeforce champions, did whatever it was, right? You guys, if they're let go at a young age, they can rebuild their career, they can redo their career, and they can become better than what they were. And so it just takes time. That's all it does. And to think that these guys, since they've left the UFC, haven't gotten any better, it's just ridiculous. It's probably the dumbest thing that I can imagine. Like, if I was to put those guys against some of the guys over there, I'd put Nemkov against any of those guys in that division outside of John Jones, and just stylistically, John Jones is a fucking tough fight for any motherfucker. Not to mention he probably is the best fighter that's ever lived. I give it to GSP still, but I only give it to GSP based on the fact that GSP's never tested positive for steroids. That's why. If John Jones had never tested positive, I'd say John Jones. I would say John Jones with everybody. Okay. Yep. But that's the thing is Nemkov can stand. Nemkov can fight Dominic Reyes. Nemkov can fight Anthony Smith. Nemkov can fight those guys. And I think he can beat those guys. Those guys are not John Jones, and I think what we saw at the end of John Jones's stint in the 205 pound division is like,
he's bored.
He's bored. I just gotta be honest. And, you know, as much as I want to say, like, okay, for me, I've kind of always hinted around like the fact that, like, okay, is he off the stuff now? Is that why he doesn't say? But he's also older, you know. So I don't know what it is, but he's also older. And so him going to heavyweight, I think we talked about that with Bader. It's a perfect opportunity for him to go there. The light heavyweight division right now across the board is up in arms. It's a toss up. If you put Machida against any of those guys, Machida just has a really weird way of making everyone look bad. It's kind of an MVP thing. Like, he makes everyone look bad because of the way he fights. You know, it doesn't matter
awkward.
how, he's awkward, and his footwork is so fucking good. His speed is good. You know what I mean? All those things they play a difference. And so I think the light heavyweight division, they said the same shit about me. They said that they had cut me. They didn't cut me. They were trying to still sign me up until the day I signed with Bellator. You know, up until the very day, it was like 2 days before, Joe says, hey, are we getting this deal done or not? There was never a thing like we were letting you go. So I know exactly when he says we let them all go. No, his
job as a promoter is not to promote anybody that's not inside of his organization.
Just like he said about Scott Coker, saying like that's what Scott's got to do to promote his fights. I get it. Well, that's what Dana White's got to do to promote his organization. I get it, you guys. Look, it's not a knock, but if you guys are at home going, oh, because Dana said, it must be true. You guys are the same idiots that believe all the politicians, right? Running around fucking. It's, you know what I mean? So it's not true. And, you know, it's like maybe those guys, yeah, sure. Phil Davis, you know, he was always in the top group of guys when he left. Ryan Bader was always in that top group of guys when he left. Maybe he wasn't number 1 and number 2, you know, but I mean, he did fight John Jones, you know. Phil Davis was always up in that upper group. Who else out of that? I mean, Corey Anderson was number 4 at the time. You know what I mean? So we've got a good group of guys in there. Now, you guys got to remember as well, we don't have as many guys because we have a lot smaller roster, and we also don't have as many fights. So if we can't just sign people and then sit them on the bench for them not to make money, that's fucking up their careers. So when Bellator does that, like, they've got a small group and a small group of good fighters. I would put them against those guys for sure. I would, because stylistically, yeah, sure, I could pick some guys that would make those guys look bad, and they could pick their guys to fight the guys on our side too to make our guys look bad. That's what matchmaking does.
That's it.
But I would put Nemkov against the winner of Dominic Reyes and Blachowicz all day long. Yep. All day long, I'd put him against him. So, and I think it'd be a good fun fight. I mean, why don't we just do that? Good fight. Why don't we do that cross promotion? Let's go across promotion now.
Why don't we just do that?
I think it's good. And I would put Amosov against fucking any of their 170 pounders. You know, I would do that as well. You know, if you want to Usman,
go ahead.
I mean, yeah,
you're not even putting Lima. Come on.
No, I'm saying I would put Amosov. I would put Lima against any of them. You know, I think stylistically though, Lima has a harder time with Usman than Amosov has a harder time than Usman. It just matches, like, the styles of it all match up really well. Like, I'd put Colby Covington against Lima all day long. I think Usman has learned how to strike a little bit better. Colby would have no answer for that calf kick. Usman being long with the push kick and the long jab, and he's gotten a lot better with using his reach and his range a lot better. It'd make for a fun fight, because Lima's a huge fucking 170 pounder. We're getting into this cross promotion stuff. I know it never is going to happen. So
you always get into that.
I know. I do. I love it.
You want it to happen
because I fucking love talking about this shit. That's why you and I are nerding out over all this stuff all the time. Here, will you pull up? There was a couple other like things that. Oh, yeah. Well, there was a couple other things that I think. What else was there that was going on this week? In fight stuff
this week. I looked through what we haven't covered, and there's we kind of covered it all. Dana had said tonight that after the show that Tony versus Dustin is the likely next fight.
That's a fucking amazing.
That's a great fight.
That's an amazing fight. You know, I mean,
good job by Dana if he puts that one together, because that's a great fight.
And you look at Dustin, right? Dustin, he'd beat Gaethje already. You know, so you got Dustin to beat Gaethje, and then Gaethje being able to beat Tony. That puts Dustin right back in that conversation. And I think Tony deserves to shouldn't have to fight someone lower than that. I think they're 4 and 5, or sorry, 3 and 2 and 3. I think they're 2 and 3, because you have Gaethje's 1 and you got Tony's 2, and you got, I think Dustin is 3. That makes sense, man.
Conor 4.
Conor 4. It makes sense. Great fight. You know, I mean, I would like to see more of Conor fight Dustin or Tony also. But I mean, I'm not knocking this fight. I'd like to see Conor get in that mix, but it ain't gonna happen. Conor's only gonna come back for the title shot, and they're gonna give it to him. They're gonna give it to him. You know, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. You know,
Who are
would
they
be a
going to
great
give it to
fight?
him against? Hold on.
A great fight. No, a great fight. A great fight would be.
No, you're saying something there. Who are they going to give it to? Because Khabib's not going to fight him.
No, Khabib's gonna leave.
Exactly. So who are they going to give Conor a shot against? You're going to say they're going to bring Conor in and give him a shot at the vacant title?
I think no. Yeah, I mean, probably either if it's
at
Justin,
170 at a 155.
155.
So they're going to give Conor the shot over all the guys that they have that are actually fighting right now.
Are you know the fucking answer to that? Why would you even ask me that dumb question?
Pushing buttons. Come
you
on,
know the
buttons.
answer at that for sure. They're gonna like if
Of course they will. It's called making money.
yeah, of course. You know, him being the champion just makes sense. That's what it does. It makes business sense. That's what it makes.
Business sense.
Yeah, if you're a hardcore fan, you're hating that. But if you're a nerd at home, like just someone that just sits on the couch and watches UFC because you and your friend train UFC, then you probably.
I used to have that shirt. It was a great shirt. I train UFC, bro.
That's great.
I love that shirt. I made that.
That's gonna be a great fight.
I gotta have one of those.
Dustin Poirier and Tony Ferguson, great fight. Justin Gaethje versus Khabib, great fight. I mean, their lightweight division's fucking great, man. They got a great lightweight
phenomenal.
division.
Phenomenal.
Great lightweight division.
Yep.
I'm obviously a little biased too because they're good guys. Lightweights, I favor all lightweights. That's the
Yeah, we know. We know.
Let's let's get into one thing real quick. Let's get into some boxing. Oscar De La Hoya says that he will fight any top guy in boxing.
What?
In boxing, came out and said he's going to come out of retirement. What is he, like 50 something years old now?
He's going to fight any top.
He wants to fight a top guy. Oscar De La Hoya, 47, says he's ending retirement to resume boxing career. Also said something. I was reading a thing saying he wanted to fight a top guy. I said, "You're stupid."
Yeah. Well, guess what?
He'll do it.
He ain't going to fight a top guy.
I think any top guy would fight him, but I don't think he's going to fight a top guy.
I didn't say that. I said he's not going to fight a top guy. I think there's of the guys in the top.
I would love
fight
to see him and fucking Floyd Mayweather fight again. Now that they're old. Now they're old.
He actually fought Floyd well.
Yeah, he did.
You go back and watch that fight. He fought Floyd well.
Yeah. Who else? I would love to see him fight fucking Dana. That'd be a great fight.
Yeah, there you
That'd
go.
be a great fight. Let's see. I mean, realistically, I don't.
Any weight.
Oh, he's gonna fight anybody at any weight. Is that what he says?
No. Dude, Dana's got to weigh what?
Yeah.
200 now?
Oh, yeah.
215 pounds, 220 pounds?
Oscar, fat and out of shape, would fucking just smoke Dana.
Oh, destroy him.
I'm trying to think like who I don't know what weight class he'd fight at. Canelo's weight, 160.
Well, he'd be either, I would say 154, 154 or 160. He's not going to make 147 anymore.
No way. I don't even think he'll make 54. I don't even think he'll make 54.
Possibly.
God, this is a headache, man.
I didn't even know that he was thinking about trying to come back.
I think you saw Tyson hitting the mitts thinking he could do that shit again. Bro, you ain't Mike Tyson, dog. Mike Tyson's an animal. That guy also too. But you're fighting heavyweight guys. And they're doing an expedition with Roy Jones. It's not like he's not trying to fight, the top guys. He's not fighting Tyson Fury or
there you go.
What's the other guy?
Any of them. Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury. You know what they would do to Mike Tyson right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Although Mike Tyson looks great hitting mitts. I love Mike Tyson. He can't go in and fight with those guys now.
Allen Iverson. Okay. Remember we're talking about practice? You watching the dude hit bits? Come on, man. We're talking about Allen Iverson. We're talking about practice? Come on. Yeah. No. Hey, but you know what though? It does kind of spark my interest to see who he does fight. I'm not gonna lie. It's no different than Floyd saying Floyd's talking about he may fight again here soon. So I don't know. Whatever. Tyson and Roy Jones got a little spark out of everyone too when he was hitting the mitts, and then Roy Jones now. I mean, whatever. It's gonna be fun.
I'll tell you what, I can see if because Floyd is talking about fighting and he's got Dana doing something with him. What is? Oh no, because of all the hard lines and the bad blood between Dana and Oscar. Could you imagine Come on, something in there. You talk about a soap opera.
Zuffa boxing with it's going to be Zuffa and De La Hoya boxing.
Zuffa Mayweather Golden Boy Boxing brings you the return. Floyd Mayweather against Oscar Golden Boy De La Hoya.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can hear it already.
I just don't know. It's crazy. Doesn't make any sense.
With your promoter, Dana White.
No.
Come on, man.
All right. Well, I think that's good. Anything else? Did we miss anything?
Nah, we covered a lot.
We don't have
good.
any. Yeah, we don't have any shows for 3 weeks now. So we have 2 weeks off, and then we go on the third week. We have two back-to-back shows. Hey, let's talk because what's it called?
I don't know what is it called. You're the one thinking of
the goofball, the one that you and I like kind of like to laugh about every once in a while. What's his name? Ilwani, Ariel Helwani.
Ariel?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was trying to remember his name. I guess apparently he released that we're going to be on CBS Sports. So Bellator's moving over to CBS Sports. I guess he went public with it yesterday.
Yeah, he did.
When we were all fighting.
Same as he went public with Brock Lesnar's going to fight UFC 200.
Yeah. Oh, Ariel.
Yeah. Oh, Ariel. That's his job.
Jeez, man.
That's his job. I don't blame him.
Yeah, I guess.
Come on. What's his job?
What does he say? Bellator MMA expected to move to CBS Sports Network this September. Interesting. Well,
I mean, it's like 2 weeks away. Why hasn't Bellator announced that, if that's the case?
Good question.
That should make you wonder, right? Why this dumbass is releasing stuff that he doesn't really know about.
but is he doing it, like, is it maybe like a insider thing where Ariel's doing it because people, they know it will get a good buzz if it comes from Ariel?
It doesn't make any sense. Like, but
ESPN.
it doesn't matter which promotion it is. Every promotion wants to be the first to drop news like that. And that's why his ass is not allowed in the building at the UFC at all. That's why. It's because he decides to release shit that's not even supposed to be out yet. And I get it. You're a reporter and I get you're supposed to drop the shit. But also, if you want to kind of keep your relationships the way they are, you may want to say like, hey, let me.
What you can do is get on the phone and call.
Yeah. And
say, hey, I've got this information and I'm going to release it unless you give me a good reason not to.
Yeah, that's good. I think that's a great idea. Yeah, you would think that he would do that, but Ariel, whatever. It's got him where he's at now.
That's right.
So he's gonna keep doing what he's doing.
And you got to look and say, honestly, it is his job. He's a reporter. What do reporters do? They get little tidbits. They get little breaking news, and they put it out there, the first one, because that's what's going to get them their next click.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. We hang around with Jay Glazer, and Jay also talks about, like, there's times to release things and there's times not to.
Jay's a different duck than you're. Are you comparing Jay Glazer and Eric?
Absolutely not.
Jay is gonna blow a fucking gasket.
Yeah, that's very true. No, I'm just talking about how smart Jay is. Jay keeps his relationships well.
He's smart.
Yeah, and Jay does all these things very well.
He knows things.
Oh, he knows.
He knows a ton of things that he does not put out.
It is so crazy. Yeah, Jay knows a ton. But
that's why Jay is sitting where he's sitting and doing what he's doing, and people trust him, and they talk to him, and they actually use him for advice.
Oh yeah.
So,
and which helps teams out, which is great. I mean, my thing is that Ariel's ruined some of his connections with the UFC, and potentially, I don't even know, with Bellator or whatever, but a simple phone call, like you said, like, hey, if I can't release this right now, or give me a reason not to, or do you guys need another 2 weeks before? Can I release it? And I understand that. Give me some time.
Give me a date that I can.
Give me a date I can. Let me do this.
There you go.
Because if you don't give me a date to release it, I'm just gonna release it now.
Exactly.
I understand that type of thing. I don't know. I guess when you get into that, it's like, man, just sometimes. Anyways, if we do end up moving to CBS Sports, I think a lot of people thought we would be there anyways, in CBS Sports or CBS and Showtime and all those things, because once they merged Viacom and them, I think you're going to see a lot of what we saw in the prelims, is you're going to see a lot of young, very, very talented fighters. And then we can get into this whole battle, because I think a lot of it is too that like when people were watching fights at home, up until now. They don't see the guys that we have that I see overseas, or the ones that don't get to see all the fights that we have, all the prelim fights. Man, we've got some good, young, talented guys, some really, really good fighters. So
Yep.
I'm excited to see all those guys explode onto the scene once we do hit, if we do hit, CBS Sports or CBS or Showtime or whatever it is. So I'm excited, man. It's good stuff. All right, guys. Well, hey, this is our show. It was a little bit long-winded, but John likes to talk, and sometimes I got to try to shoosh, but
it was all me, wasn't it?
well, Podcast Day was out of control before we started the show, so I'm glad he didn't say shit. Okay, ProWrestlingTees.com/weighing in. There's a plethora of shirts
There
up
you
there.
go. You're using my words, baby.
Big words, baby. Big words. I have no idea what it
Makes you
means.
smarter.
I think it means a lot.
It
So,
does.
okay, see? But there's a big selection of shirts for you guys up there to choose from. We've got the Karate Kid one, Big John up there with the, are you with the chopsticks?
I got the chopsticks.
You got the chopsticks.
I'm trying to catch a fly.
I must be the Karate Kid.
Skill.
Dude,
And then,
you're looking a little George St. Pierre-ish there.
gosh, I guess that's, am I good looking though? Is that good?
Oh, yeah. You look
And then-
dude, you look way better in that shirt than you do in real life.
We've got the home improvement shirt where Podcast Dave is peeking over the fence. And then we've got our logo shirt that you see right there with Big John he's wearing. And we got that in several colors. You guys can also pick up the blue corner, which is my corner. That lets you know that you're supporting me and how much you love me. Yeah, Josh Thompson. Yeah. Oh, what is this? You got John in the red corner, which I guess apparently means like the championship corner. I think it's no. I don't think that.
Hear the roar of the crowd.
We've got it in the army green. We've got it in black. We've got it also in is that a light gray?
It's like ash.
It is
gray.
It's
light
like an
gray.
ash gray. Yeah, I actually like
Ashy.
that one.
Ashy.
It looks better. It looks better
It
than
makes
I
you
thought
look
it would.
ashy.
So go ahead and hit ProWrestlingTees.com/weighing in. Pick up a shirt there. Post a picture of it, and we will repost it. If you do the red and the blue, whoever wins, when are we gonna end this contest?
August 30th.
Yeah, when we ended it.
August 31st, we're gonna end it. If John sold more shirts than I did in the blue corner, make sure you pick up the blue corner. Please pick up the blue corner.
Red corner is the champion's corner. Remember that. If you want to be a champion, you got to go to the red corner.
If whoever wins
Does that make sense?
in the group of people that selected from that, we will pick an email, because you guys submit your email on the website, and we will email you and ask you directly what your address is. We will send you over a signed t-shirt.
And I've decided we're going to pick the name live on the show.
We'll pick the name live on the show. There you go. Good job, podcast.
I like that.
And I believe that's everything. Go to YouTube, SoundCloud, Google, Spotify, all those things. Hit the thumbs up on YouTube. Share our videos everywhere. We appreciate you guys. Our numbers are growing, and we thank you guys for that. And we truly appreciate you guys. Great show, guys. Good job, podcast. Dave, you didn't say anything today. Very nice. Okay.
What do you mean? He talked a lot. You did great, Dave.
I tuned him out.
Proud of you.
I cut
right.
Josh's headphones off.
He did. He actually did. All right, guys. Take it easy, and we'll see you next time.